problems.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-445-6363. That's 1-800-445-6363. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-445-6363. That's 1-800-445-6363.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Hill and down Dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels. I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
It's all of Fugazi. You know what Fugazi is?
No, Fugazi, it's fake.
Yeah, Fugazi, Fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not real.
Right.
Shut up, silly woman.
This is the Trump country. We live in the southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program here on this Friday. This crazy Friday. They're changing up the studio, and I kind of like it. I kind of like living in a cave. I'm a bit vampiric that way. And there really is not that much crazy in the news. I mean, Democrats are freaking out that the Trump DOJ is going after their main fundraiser for potential money laundering, Act Blue, as is being covered all through the election. Act Blue may be using people's names to launder big donation dollars. Of course, those folks are saying, well, that's just Trump going after his political opponents. Karma. You also have Steve Bannon saying we have to cut in the Pentagon. We got to cut everywhere. We're about to go bankrupt. Steve Bannon, Steve, absolutely right about that. You have social media users. You got TikTokers out there going to see Pope Francis's dead body on display, and they're taking selfies with the dead pontiff. I don't know why that upsets me so much, but it's like, have we no shame? No, apparently we don't, because guess what else is going on? USC and UCLA students are gearing up to compete in the world's first ever sperm race. Sperm race, yes, SPERM. And this is apparently supposed to bring attention to male infertility and the infertility crisis and how guys, testicles are all messed up or something. Maybe it's the microplastics. Maybe it's, I don't know, you ate too much Chick-fil-A sauce and it has all that soy in it. And so, your son's turning a little, fruity or something. I don't know. But apparently they're going to put like these fellas' stuff on a little track and 4,000 people are going to watch. They say the race is going to take like 20 to 40 minutes. See how quickly their stuff, their little swimmers can go down the track. There's a lot going on in this world. Some of it, I don't know how to make heads or tails of. I mean, of course, earlier in this week, we talked about how Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum is stepping down. Klaus Schwab. You will eat the bugs and you will enjoy it. You will own nothing and eat the bugs. Hey, crickets ain't bad. Just ask the fish. So you think, oh, what a victory. Klaus Schwab has been ousted. And there's actually a whole investigation going on by the World Economic Forum of Klaus Schwab over, quote unquote, in-room massages and other allegations. And if you've seen the replacement for Klaus Schwab, it doesn't get better. They went from like 90% Bond villain to like 95% Bond villain, the guy with the weird eye or something. But apparently people bugged Klaus Schwab's room, and some folks are calling it the bug and tug. I knew I was being bugged. I liked it. You also, of course, have a former Secretary of State here in the great state of Alabama criticizing the current Secretary of State. It's rumored, well, we know Wes Allen's running for Lieutenant Governor. Very clear John Merrill, the former Secretary of State, is going to run maybe for Lieutenant Governor. And Merrill's criticizing Allen, and Allen's criticizing Merrill. And I mean, he ran on it, criticizing Merrill. And then, like on Easter Sunday, somebody, Allen accuses Merrill of sodomy, which if you look up the definition of sodomy, it could be all manner of sins. Really, that's like one of those Rorschach tests. When somebody says the word sodomy, you have to wonder, what are they actually talking about? Well, there are details out there, and this is why John Merrill fell out of the United States Senate race many moons ago. And the question for Mr. Merrill is, can he earn back the trust of the people of Alabama? Even while maybe his potential opponents bring up sodomy. But, I mean, isn't this the stuff y'all love? Sort of the dirty details, the crazy stuff. Because, yes, I know some people like the serious news. They like knowing what's the latest on the economic plan. What's Congress going to pass next, especially the House and the Senate? Republicans, how do they get along? Are they going to pass the one big, beautiful bill? You even might want to hear about what's the latest with Bitcoin and the Sovereign Wealth Fund. What's the latest with the tariff strategy? How will this actually work out at the end of the day? You might be interested, though not that many are, in foreign policy. Will Trump make some grand deal, actually end the war between Russia and Ukraine? What will Trump do in terms of making a deal so we don't have to bomb Iran? You might be wondering about what's the latest in AI, as well as what's the latest in trying to get smut out of children's classrooms. Is Tommy Tuberville running for governor? You might be wondering all these things, but I have a sneaking suspicion that what people really care about is the sizzle. The sizzle. So somebody sent me a screenshot from City Watch, Uncut, Montgomery, Alabama. City Watch, Uncut, Montgomery, Alabama. And this is where not only do folks want to hear about the stuff that goes on in this city of ours, they want video. That's the name of the game these days. We don't want substance. We want that sizzle. And the best way to push that sizzle today is get it on video. Unfortunately, there isn't a video. Unfortunately not. But here, I can just show the screenshot here. Somebody sent it to me, took a screenshot out of Montgomery Uncut. This way I don't have to characterize it. I can just show it to you. There it is. It says, big fight on Ann Street this morning at gas station across from Chick-fil-A. Apparently 4 trans women severely assaulted another trans woman, police and ambulance everywhere. I'm going to read that again. Big fight on Ann Street this morning at gas station across from Chick-fil-A. Apparently 4 trans women severely assaulted another trans woman, police and ambulance everywhere. The first top comment is, no video? No, sorry, says the original poster. Then another person saying, then why announce it with no proof? And this might very well be just false. In fact, you never know in this city. Some of y'all, it's hard to tell whether you're a woman or a trans woman. I mean, you got the fake hair. Some of y'all are big girls, like these big girls with the fake hair. You don't know whether or not that's a woman or if that's a man. You're like, well, watch for the voice change and like the tone of voice change. That doesn't tell you anything. There are all sorts of ladies out there with a deeper voice than me. They sing baritone in church choir. So I don't know if it was 4 trans women fighting outside the gas station on Ann Street. And if you get your gas there, you're just playing with fire. Like, how do I up the odds that something may happen to me? But then you might want to up those odds because occasionally you see things like a bunch of trannies fighting one another. And then you have to ask yourself, is that actually some transgender folks over there? Or is that a transvestite? Or is that, oh, those are just a bunch of big girls with weaves? This town, man, there's all sorts of beautiful people. There's all sorts of wonderful things people are doing. You know, last week I went to the Shakespeare Festival in Blunt Cultural Park, though, of course, in the back of my mind, there was that whole, rape that happened in broad daylight, like in the late hours of the morning, right before midday. Somebody pulled into a bathroom. Police, I believe, Crime Stoppers offering $5,000 to figure it out. But I'm still like, oh, it's a beautiful place. Memories come rushing back where my mother would take us to the park, where I accidentally, it was accidentally. My uncle was trying to cover me on a fly route when I was about 16, and he fell and he really hurt his rotator cuff on his shoulder. I always will remember that in those green fields there in Blunt Cultural Park. And, of course, a beautiful evening at the Shakespeare Festival. There are beautiful restaurants around here. There are beautiful churches. We are one of the most charitable people probably in the world here in Sweet Home, Alabama. But I know y'all. The more I've gotten to know y'all, we can do all those things. But what really sets us ablaze is whether or not there was a tranny fight on Ann Street here in Montgomery, Alabama, right across from the Chick-fil-A. You're trying to get you a spicy chicken sandwich. You see these big girls throwing down. The hair comes off. You get the, grabbing the shirt, the pull down, and it's like just the freewheeling swing. And it's entertainment is what it is. We need to start to embrace the weird here in Montgomery. It's entertainment. 99% of us ain't going to do squat. 99% of us would never get in a fight. But if you're willing to take a little risk if something bad happened, you could be entertained more than anything you ever see on the internet. In fact, you might see the viral video in person before it goes viral. Unfortunately, when it comes to the potential for trans women severely assaulted another trans woman post, there is no video. What a shame. What an absolute crying shame. If anybody does have video of this tranny fight, send it to me. Joey Clark live at gmail.com. I would love to be entertained. I would absolutely love to be entertained. But it does seem like the culture has gone wild, and we relish it. I'm genuinely worried we're not going to fix our debt problems. It's like, why not just let it all hang out? Why not just have some fun with it? Enjoy the tranny fights. Enjoy the, you engaged in sodomy, sir. That's why nobody... Okay, what are we talking about here? What do you mean by John Merrill engaged in sodomy? We're talking about, like, some mild butt play and some light BDSM, or are we talking, like, crazy stuff? I mean, that's a little crazy to some folks, but it's crazy. I hope John Merrill runs. I would love to have Wes Allen and John Merrill here in the studio, and they can hash it out. But I really think the wheels are falling off. The wheels are falling off our society. Every time RFK Jr. goes up there and speaks, and he's talking about we're going to make America healthy again. I'm looking at the stats. I'm like, how are you going to get all the fat kids skinny? That's a lot of fat kids. It took me years to get skinnier than where I was. It took me years and discipline, and well, not as much discipline. I still like to eat, but you know what I mean. How are you going to get a fat kid to get skinny again? Are you going to have to have the government put them on a diet? And maybe that's not the worst idea. While we're trying to ban pot that's been legal for 7 years in the state, while the Medical Marijuana Commission can't even stand themselves up because everybody's tied up in court and lawsuits, countersuits, and I want those few licenses, yada, yada, yada. Well, if the state's prone to saying we should have no substances that alter people's minds, in fact, I think there are a lot of folks in the very conservative side of things in this state that would like alcohol prohibition back. And I'll admit, alcohol's awful for you. It's terrible for your health. But it also causes fun. That's the thing. Drunk people are fun. Trannies fighting on Ann Street are fun. Secretaries of state accusing one another, or at least one accusing one other of sodomy. It's fun. It's not wholesome. It's not a good sign that we're going in the right direction, but it is fun. We have to embrace the fun. We have to embrace the fun. So welcome into the show here on this Friday. As you can tell, I'm all over the map. They're tearing down walls in this studio. They're renovating the building. Eddie's busy. Craig's sick. And I'm still a little peeved that I don't have a video of the tranny fight. I wish I could bring it to you. But no fun in that way today. We'll have to find other fun down the road. And 272-9228, if you're going to tune into the sperm race between a USC and a UCLA student, that should be great. That should be fantastic. God. I don't like watching an NFL draft, but if I have to choose between the draft and a sperm race, which I don't even know what that is, sounds like sodomy to me, I'd rather watch the draft in that case. But I didn't last night. I guess some Alabama players got picked. Shocking. It's a really good team and a really good school for foosball. Anyway, this part of the program, before we hit this break, brought to you by River Region Contracting. And there at River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and the team are ready to help you with that roof of yours. Could be an asphalt, shingle roof, or a metal roof. Each type can have its own unique problems. In fact, problems that aren't easy for you to spot. Maybe you are limber. Maybe you're a risk taker. You're like, I'll climb up on my own roof. I mean, I own it. It's my roof. When you climb up there, are you actually going to know what to look for? I mean, there are obvious things like, I got a hole. I got a new skylight in the roof. But if it's not so obvious, if it's something that's starting to fester, starting to create a problem, you're going to want truly skilled professionals out there. And that's what they can provide you, that River Region Contracting. And if you're looking for peace of mind, maybe you're not certain of a problem, River Region Contracting can help you out. And here's the beautiful thing. Their inspections are always free, as are their estimates. Say they do find a problem, they'll write up an estimate for free on here's how much it's going to be to fix it. Then they'll actually get there on time. That estimate's accurate, you'll find. And they get the job done well without leaving a big mess. And they'll sit down and explain everything to you, all the detail you could ever desire if you want it. And of course, there are also insurance specialists there at River Region Contracting. So if they do find a problem with your roof that your insurance company might cover, they can walk you through that claims process, which will be made easy and swift. Not something you normally associate with insurance claims, but that's just how good they are there at River Region Contracting. Let them prove to you today that they're the premier roofing contractor here in the area. That number, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell Todd Clark of the team that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. Seriously, if anybody has video of the tranny fight, send it to me. Or send it to somebody who can send it to me. I want to see it. If not, it will go down as legend in our own minds. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
It's officially festival season. Looking for a weekend full of entertainment that the whole family can enjoy? Join us in historic downtown Prattville at Pratt Park for Prattville City Fest. Friday, May 2nd begins with the opening ceremonies at 5:30. Enjoy a concert performance featuring the Rock Mob at 6. And then Saturday from 9 until 4, come back for a day of arts and crafts, food, entertainment, and kids activities. Admission is free. The Prattville City Fest at Pratt Park in downtown Prattville. Friday and Saturday, May 2nd and 3rd. Visit PrattvilleCityFest.com for more information.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage.
And I'm Madeline Cannon, and we have some exciting news to share with you. We've been serving the state of Alabama for many, many years, and now we are able and ready to offer the same great mortgage financing in Georgia and Florida as well.
Our company may be Alabama Home Mortgage, but now we can finance your Georgia home mortgage and your Florida home mortgage too. We couldn't be more excited to extend our customer base to our neighboring states. For years, we have had customers call us in hopes we could assist them with purchasing their vacation cabin in North Georgia or their dream home in Florida. And now we can. For those of you who have family and friends that live in Florida and Georgia, be sure to tell them the good news.
Whether you are looking to purchase or refinance a home located in Alabama, Georgia, or Florida, you owe it to yourself to give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time.
It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime. And as usual, it's already time to start getting ready for spring. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 13 years in a row. The Alabama Lawn staff is made up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in a lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns. 272-7171.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Wall Street has racked up 3 straight days of gains, propelled by strong corporate earnings, as well as hopes that the Federal Reserve may decide to cut interest rates. Shares of Alphabet jumped 5% early on, as Google's parent company reports profits soaring 50% in the first quarter of the year. Google's stellar results come as the tech giant faces competitive and legal threats amid an economy that's been roiled by a global trade war. Intel, which beat Wall Street's quarterly projections, has issued conservative guidance for this year. Executives cite an increasingly uncertain economic landscape driven by shifting trade policies, persistent inflation, and increased regulatory risks. Intel shares slid 3.8% pre-market. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Oh, hi, everybody. No surprises in the forecast. It's starting to sound similar a lot of days. Yes, there will be more showers and storms on the radar today, but they will be random. Some towns get wet, other towns stay dry. Sunshine will be limited with highs in the mid to upper 80s, lows at night in the mid 60s. Saturday, I think we're up to about 88 with isolated storms for a few towns. And then by Sunday and Monday, I have the rain chances 20% or less with highs 88 to 90. Sounds like summertime. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE's 25 and 25 has you covered. For just $25 in closing costs, you can tap into your home's equity. No hidden fees, no headaches, just extra cash. Visit your local ASE Credit Union branch today. Federally insured by NCUA. NMLS 420259. Terms apply.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your cause, your ASE.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Another sign of the nation's decline are old people. Not the average old person, let me be clear. I'm living with an old person. Old people are great. A lot of y'all listen to the show. Like, seriously, those of you who've got several decades under your belt. In fact, those of you who have, like, twice as many as me, y'all are usually the best people ever because you've seen it. Especially those of you who are part of that silent majority, that silent generation. A lot of people skip y'all. They go right from the greatest generation to the boomers. But the silent generation, y'all are amazing people. You lived in an era where you could trust the institutions. You usually put your best foot forward. You don't complain too much. Indeed, you're silent. But you do have a strong belief in this country, in yourselves. The silent generation's great. So my point isn't old people in general are bad. My point is there are too many old people in positions of power. The government, of course, and we'll get to that, the latest example of somebody way too old to still be in government. Way too old. But you see this across the board in many aspects of our society, where a lot of the old don't want to give up the reins. I mean, what else are you going to do? I mean, the lie of you could sit on a beach and sip a cocktail and enjoy the rest of your life that way, well, it was a lie. Unless you really enjoy being pickled, and some people, I guess, love that. Some people love cruises. Some people are like, let's backpack across Europe, even though our knees are giving out on us. We'll let the wheels fall off, so to speak. But there are too many folks holding on to power and position because they don't know what else to do. It becomes their personality. It becomes their life. And to admit that I need to retire, say from a position of power and authority, suggests, well, life is about to be up. No, again, it isn't. You can retire and still have decades ahead of you. Maybe you find a new job that isn't as demanding that you actually enjoy doing. There are a lot of options out there. But in particular, old people in politics. It's ugly. It's tragic. And then as soon as you start to feel a little bit of pity, a little sorry for them, you remember who they are. The example we have today, of course, is Nancy Pelosi. Just listen into this. Listen into this woman.
For Arcadia Produce for hosting us today. This is a remarkable place. I hope we had a chance to see the force of it all.
Retire!
Businesses like Arcadia are the lifeblood of the American economy.
Retire!
Great optimism, entrepreneurialism, and courage. It is a privilege to join so many small business owners and leaders during this cost of living week in America. All over the
At the beginning of that clip, she had to have somebody, had to actually put the mic in front of her. Like, Nancy, you're not even speaking into the audio system. And even that doesn't really help. Retire. You know, I've long believed power corrupts. It's that old chestnut, power corrupts and absolute. Power corrupts, absolutely. But I never thought it would be like you could see it. I always thought it'd be like Dorian Gray, where the power corrupts the deal with the devil you made. It corrupts the portrait of yourself when nobody's looking. It's like that inner life, that inner self, that thing in the back room. That's the ugly thing. But as we see more and more old folks stick around in politics like Nancy Pelosi there, what you find, there's no portrait hidden in the attic. There's no inner life that's just rotten. Eventually, maybe she was good at hiding it for a while. A lot of people are good at hiding it. But eventually, the wrinkles, the scars, the lack of sleep, the compromise on values and principles and wholesome living, it begins to show up on the face. It begins to show up in the voice. Show up in the little ticks and the movements of the hand and the arms. As she pretends that I can still deliver a great speech when it comes to producing food. No, man, it's sad. Madam, it's sad. Retire. That's the only love I have for you, Nance. Retire. We've seen this time and time again. It's got to stop. And you could blame Nancy Pelosi. You could have blamed Dianne Feinstein. To his credit, an old man who got out of politics, maybe a term too late, but at least he got out before it was too obvious, is Richard Shelby. Hat tip to that guy. I'd probably disagree with him all sorts of crap, but at least Shelby got out of the game before he started to deteriorate too much in the public eye. And, of course, a man who had to talk about his own prostate surgery in public when he became a Republican. I mean, he's used to talking about his own frailties in public. I think he was very self-aware. He has enough buildings with his name all over it, especially at the University of Alabama. To his credit, Shelby got out. His best friend, Pat Leahy. Shelby was best friends with Pat Leahy. Pat Leahy got out. Good. Nancy Pelosi has stayed way too long. That's just miserable, madam. Miserable. And that's the only loving advice I have for you, because everything else I want to say, I can't say on these airwaves. Because so much of what, shifting to politics for a second, so much of what, say, the Trump administration was voted in to solve was caused by people like Nancy Pelosi. Caused like people like Mitch McConnell, who, again, should have retired and not run for re-election. It's sad. It's tragic. But he doesn't know what else to do. He doesn't know when to let go, because letting go means letting go of everything. But it's Mitch McConnell's. It's the Nancy Pelosi's. It's so many old and grizzled talking heads you still see around on Fox News that got us to this position. The massive debt. A Pentagon that spends dollar after dollar after dollar, and yet, for some reason, we can't win wars outright. A healthcare system that per capita is one of the most, if not the most expensive in the world. We spend dollar after dollar after dollar for Americans' health. And instead of actually having a healthy population, you got a bunch of people hooked on drugs that they've been convinced are the good drugs because the doctor gave it to you. You don't need healthy living. You don't need good food. We'll just give you a pill to absolve you for all your health sins. So my only loving advice to Pelosi, to Mitch McConnell, to maybe a few others up there is retire. Leave now. I know McConnell's said, I'm not going to run for re-election. I don't know if you make it, man. Retire now. Enjoy your life out of the halls of power. So a new generation can at least make new mistakes. I'm not saying the new generation. The 50-year-olds, the 40-year-olds, the 30-year-olds aren't necessarily going to solve all the problems and won't make new mistakes that the generation following them will have to fix. Of course, that will happen. This is always how it happened. But at least let the new generation come in and take over the reins. It was a beautiful thing when Donald Trump picked J.D. Vance. He picked somebody young, somebody that has staying power. It's fantastic. I think Rubio has staying power. A lot of young senators, a lot of young members of Congress. And at least they will have some perspective on the economy, on the debt, on the health of the nation. And in particular, an entire generation, many of them who served honorably in Iraq and Afghanistan and all sorts of other places, who saw friends died, friends maimed, friends come back home in one piece, but their mind is shot. A generation who saw war up close, saw the effects of war, how it destroys families. They say, no more wars of choice. No more of this war is old men sending young men to die or to have their brains scrambled. No more. Maybe the new generation will actually have to rectify this situation. Because as long as Nancy Pelosi is in the way, and even though she's not speaker anymore, even though McConnell isn't the majority leader in the Senate, you better believe they still have plenty of strings they can pull. Maybe that's the biggest tragedy going on right now. It's not necessarily the loss of our values, because at least the loss of some values are entertaining. It's entertaining, again, to watch a tranny fight on Ann Street. I don't know if it actually happened. I wish we had the video. But wouldn't that be fun at least for a day? Then you could forget about it. Can you imagine if you saw it in person? You wouldn't forget it. There's all sorts of things going on that are wrong, immoral, but at least they're like fun. And they don't end the world. Or saddle an entire generation, some not yet born, with trillions of dollars in debt, with a legacy of unhealthy food supply, and with a legacy of essentially an empire that doesn't want to be an empire. Those are the mistakes that are the worst. You could sum it up maybe as the tragedy of failing to pass on the reins to the next generation, the failure to pass the torch correctly. Pass the baton, whatever you want to use to make it stick in the mind. But it's been an utter, absolute failure. On a personal level, where you're talking about Pelosi or McConnell, or on a generational level. The cards being dealt to the upcoming generations aren't good at all. And thank God, you now have a new administration that's at least talking a good game about embracing real change instead of doing more of the same until it's time to go off to the pasture somewhere. Will they pull it off? That remains to be seen. I think they need to move faster. Elon Musk needed to move faster. Doge needed to move faster. Congress needs to move faster. But it could be because of my youth I'm being impatient. That maybe we can wait a few months, if not a year, for things that might affect us in the coming decades. Fair. I just know there are certain entrenched interests that Pelosi on her very face represents that don't want those changes. That want to see a game that is essentially the managed decline of the United States. Sold out to multinational corporations, sold out to international institutions, sold out to China and Europe and all over. While the American people become fatter, unhappier, and more reliant and dependent on these systems of control. At least we have an administration saying, maybe we don't have to live that way. And the trick is, will they actually pull it off? 272-9228 if you want to get in on the ranting and raving today here on a lovely Friday out of Montgomery, Alabama. That's 334-272-9228. All this ranting and raving is making me hungry, and I can't think of a better place than Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. You love barbecue? In fact, if you fell in love with Smokehouse Pit Barbecue years ago, Well, they're back to the original recipes there. And in fact, the guy who brought back those original recipes has been working as a pitmaster there for years. And now he and the wife own the place. And so he's working 6 brick pits where you can get pulled pork, brisket, ribs, barbecue chicken. They do it all. And those amazing sides, trimmings, fixings, okra, mac and cheese, fried green tomatoes. Maybe you want some peas. Maybe you want some mashed potatoes. And don't forget about their breakfast, Tuesday through Sunday. Go tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. Go try that amazing Southern breakfast they have there at Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. And be sure to try the cheese grits just for me. You're going to thank me after you try those cheese grits. Y'all check them out today. That's Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. You can always go to smokehousepitbbq.com to see their menu early if you like to do that. Like, look at the menu at home and you're like, oh, I'm going to go there. I don't even have to look at it. I already know what I want when I sit down. Or you can just stop by Main Street in Millbrook, whether it's a takeout or dine-in, and be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. 272-9228. Oh, I mean, Pelosi's just sad, man.
House Democrats are having events with the community about bringing down the cost of living. That was something the president promised. The exact opposite is happening.
Okay, you old bat. You old corrupt bat. Power has not treated you well, woman. Hey, let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joey, it's Bill.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
I'm great. You know, I get where you're coming from, and for you, I give you the benefit of the doubt. But, you know, we had a president not too long ago that run a whole campaign on change.
Yeah.
Hope and change. And I agree that there needs to be a more youthful movement in our federal government. But at the same time, you can't have both young and old to some degree because the philosophies are so different. And I don't want young and progressive.
Oh, but hold on, Bill. The most conservative generation right now are millennials and a big portion of Gen Z. It's not the boomers are the ones leaving Trump because they don't like the changes. They're easily scared by mass marketing and propaganda. I'm not saying if you're out there and you're onto it, that's awesome. And if you love Trump, that's awesome. But no, there's a lot of younger folks that see the big problems and they're not buying into the sort of hopey changey stuff. It's more like, no, we need to take a wrecking ball to this. And so Trump's built a coalition. If you look at him, he's not a young man by any means. He does look tired these days, but look at all the folks he's surrounded himself with. It's all youth.
Well, some of that is true, but I would say we need to take a deep breath. And right now, what you're saying is true, but I'm wondering if in 18 months from now, that's going to be the same case.
It's a good question. And I don't have a crystal ball, but I mean, the point to look at is next spring, in particular with the economy and the peace deal.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is a lot of the youth is easily swayed, whereas somebody like me, my road's just about hosed. I don't have much further to go.
Fair.
I love Trump. I love what he's doing. It infuriates me that the Democrats will stand there and point fingers at Trump and accuse him of what they were doing yesterday.
Mm-hmm. It is infuriating, but think of it this way. It could very well be 2028 is say there's going to be a contest, but it would be J.D. Vance versus, say, AOC. Take J.D. Vance all day, every day.
Yeah, with AOC, absolutely.
She's clearly running, though, man. Like, she just put out this snazzy video. She's clearly running.
Well, she is if she gets the backing. The problem is, and this is the crazy thing that is going on now, is like I said, the Democrats are pointing crooked fingers at Trump, accusing him of what they did yesterday. So what is going to be their platform? Because it can't be what it was, because now they're calling Trump out, saying that's what he's doing. So, it's too far over the horizon to tell, but I see the Democrats losing. If there was an election today or anything, I think they would lose hands down.
Yeah, I think right now they're as unpopular as they've ever been, but they're also the longest lasting political party in the world currently. So I don't underestimate them. They got plenty of money. If they do lean into their younger players, it may not be AOC. It might be some young governor or young congressman or senator nobody really knows yet, who can talk a good game, who can say dance with J.D. Vance in a pretty effective way. My point is not that like everything would be wonderful like with the new generation. I said that on purpose, that at least let the new generation make new mistakes instead of Mr.
And I agree with that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I fear is they'll make the same mistakes because they aren't aware of history. What do you think about the new dark woke stuff?
I think that's going to fall on its face. I don't see it as it's sort of stealing from the latest cool thing, and I think that's going to be going by the wayside. I think it's weak.
Well, my mom used to have every time I said something that I shouldn't say, she would look at me and say, the only reason people have to cuss is because they aren't smart enough to express themselves without those words.
I've heard that many a time, but I don't know if that's true.
Well, usually people do it for shock value, and I'm guessing that's what the Democrats are going for, is the shock value of what rolls off their tongue.
No, I think you're on to
Have a
something there.
great day.
Thank you, Bill. Great hearing from you, man. 272-9228. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is Sam in Pike County, Joey. I just want to be brief. I was having trouble hearing the video clip audio earlier. It kind of reminded me of yesterday, but it didn't seem as bad. I just wanted to throw that at you, brother.
I didn't know if that was the clip audio or just Pelosi herself.
Oh, there you go. But I just want to just give you that little heads up. But hey, I'm running. Hey, who knows? I'm out here. I got a blade on the end of my weed eater, and I'm cutting a right away here at the farm, prettying it all up. Yeah, the old man. The founders of this country, they designed this government for, the rules about being president. What do you have to be, 32, 35?
35.
35, that's it. That a mature, well-educated, a person with experience, but a mature person.
Yeah.
Not some beat up, sad, just low. It is, man. It's hard to give up that power, and there's a lot of it, and we're seeing it every day. And that's But all I can do is be a cheerleader today, Joey. I'm really enjoying your show while I'm knocking and popping.
I love it. I wish we had video of that tranny fight.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Appreciate it, sir. Let's go to line 4. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joey. I enjoyed the other callers that just now recently called in. But this is what I'd like to say to the Democrats is, and the young man that said it's not young, it's not old, it's this and that, it's their policy. Now, in my opinion, it's not young and old, it's how long you've been in the establishment. Because the establishment is not running well because you went up there and got comfortable and think you know it all. Now, it doesn't mean a young person's going to come in and do it better, but at least they don't know the ropes of the establishment.
Right.
And AOC don't know nothing. Anyway.
And then there are generational characteristics and perspectives. Like Gen X is very different than boomers and different from millennials. The guys who fought in Vietnam have a different perspective than the silent generation after World War II, have a different perspective than the guys and women that fought in Afghanistan and Iraq. So that does, I think, play out when you get new young blood in there.
Hey, I do agree with you, Joey. All that plays out, but we don't we shouldn't be electing people just because they got a different thought.
Well, I
and they
agree with
can't
that.
even
It needs
tell
to
us
be the
what
right
their
one.
policy is.
Yeah, it needs to be the right
You
one.
know.
Yeah.
In other words, we all know what the Constitution says. We all know this stuff. And you should be up there working for your constituents. That's the whole part of government.
There you
All
go.
three branches is supposed to be working for the public. So when you jump out there trying to get votes on an 80-20 issue, Democrats look stupid. And it's from the leadership all the way down to the bottom of the Democrats. In other words, Schumer looks like an idiot to me, and AOC looks like an idiot to me. But who am I? I'm just somebody that don't have a college degree.
Yeah.
I don't have somebody fixing to pay my loan off.
All right.
I don't have a president that takes all the damn loans for student loans from the banks and claim that the banks are getting rich off this. We're going to take it over. And 15 years later, they want to wipe off all the debt when there's a whole lot of Americans that never did do that.
Oh, yeah. No, and you're right, though. And what it was that Trump said, I love the uneducated. I love them. Because that's the label all the pollsters put on it, the uneducated. And it's like, well, maybe they have some something called common sense. I appreciate the call, Robert. Let's go to line 5. You're on there. Who's us?
This is Steve.
Hey, Steve. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Just a quick comment. You know, you hear all these people raising Cain and so on and so forth about the economy. And I look at it from the perspective of the American public is spoiled. They want instant gratification. You know, the man ran on the idea that he was going to lower prices. Well, he gets into office and everybody thinks that he should cut prices by 50% 24 hours after he gets into office.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't. It really does. Well, and it's great, though, where first it was like eggs. He hadn't got eggs down, and then eggs fall like crazy. Well, gas is still high. Then oil falls. Then they just move on to the next thing. And, of course, a price shock of tariffs is the same exact thing what we saw coming out of COVID with, compounding inflation. You're right. I think the short-term attention span of a lot of Americans is an unfortunate thing. That's why I keep saying we need to start watching maybe for some sprouts in the fourth quarter of this year, but especially look for some flowers blooming in the spring of next year. And if not, it's going to be a heck of a midterm race.
Exactly. And just like the previous caller was saying, the majority, unfortunately, of these young progressives is that they are all idiots. Every last one of them. Just like that idiot David Hogg. Why is he even in the DNC at the age of 25? The young man has absolutely no life experience, and all he is a blowhard.
And I think it's simply as he gets clicks online.
Yeah. And all the money that he raised recently, I forget how many millions of dollars it was, they said he spent every bit of it on garbage, and
Crazy.
so I hope the DNC does tell him to take a hike.
Well, we'll see. And it's interesting to watch the Democrats try to find their way out of the wilderness right now. And it's also interesting to see, can the Trump administration keep the momentum going? And I feel like maybe I'm being impatient myself, but I do worry if they slow down the momentum, that's when the knives start getting sharpened the most from, say, the people they're fighting. But we'll see. And I appreciate the call, Steve. Thanks, sir.
Sure. Thank you.
First hour in the can. Second hour. Coming up, we should be talking to Austin Branco of Invista Advisors after the break.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Negotiations between Iran and the U.S. over Tehran's nuclear program set to return to Oman. Experts on both sides meeting Saturday to start hammering out the technical details of any possible deal. The talks seek to limit Iran's nuclear program in exchange for the lifting of some of the economic sanctions the U.S. has imposed on the Islamic Republic. President Trump says Crimea will stay with Russia. It's a definitive statement about the need for Ukraine to cede territory to end the war. Crimea is a strategic peninsula along the Black Sea in southern Ukraine. It was seized by Russia in 2014. That's while President Barack Obama was in office. On Wall Street, stocks have turned higher. The Dow up 35 points. The NASDAQ composite adding 233. This is SRN News.
3 years ago, I wrapped up a run of Annie playing Daddy Warbucks with the South Carolina Children's Theater. I was about 40, 50 pounds overweight, tired, sick, fed up with the way I felt. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I had to do something. I scheduled my weight loss consultation with PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. And as they say, the rest is history. Just a few months, I lost over 50 pounds. I took control of my health. 3 years later, I've kept the weight off and I feel better than ever. If you are where I was, do what I did. Call PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. It'll change your life. It's fast and simple. They won't let you fail. Just give them a call at 855-696-2020 to schedule your weight loss consultation. That's 855-696-2020. 855-696-2020. Here's the best part. First 11 callers who mention the keyword healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Don't wait. Call today. 855-696-2020. Mention healthy to get 2 free weeks. Or visit them at myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. No surprises in the forecast. It's starting to sound similar a lot of days. Yes, there will be more showers and storms on the radar today, but they will be random. Some towns get wet, other towns stay dry. Sunshine will be limited with highs in the mid to upper 80s, lows at night in the mid 60s. Saturday, I think we're up to about 88 with isolated storms for a few towns. And then by Sunday and Monday, I have the rain chances 20% or less with highs 88 to 90. Sounds like summertime. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. Hyundai announced on Thursday it is shifting production of one of its best-selling cars to Montgomery. The South Korean automaker will move the manufacturing of some Tucson models from Mexico to Montgomery in order to minimize the impact of President Donald Trump's tariffs. Trump is currently negotiating with multiple countries on various tariff and trade deals. A bill recently filed in the state legislature would prevent Alabamians from purchasing soda using SNAP benefits, also known as food stamps. House Bill 579 would prohibit the purchase of soda using program benefits in the state. The latest study from the USDA shows soda as the #1 expenditure for SNAP households. If you don't have a passport and you plan to fly using a United States airport, you will need a Star ID beginning May 7th. The driver's license offices that issue Star IDs in Montgomery are located on Coliseum Boulevard and Ripley Street. So far, only about 30% of Alabamians are in compliance, and long lines are expected at driver's license offices as the deadline approaches. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Pestruccelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. Even in the digital age, radio remains the most powerful reach medium for connecting with audiences. Its ability to engage listeners, reach a wide and diverse audience, and create real emotional connections sets it apart from other forms of media. Radio's adaptability and easy access ensure its continued relevance now and in the future. Want to learn how radio can work for your business? Visit BlueWaterBroadcasting.com. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Attention business owners. Did you know that about 90% of employees and customers are unhappy when they walk into a dirty building? Let Janny King, the king of clean, keep your business pristine. Janny King's local franchise owners can handle your cleaning needs with reliable, hands-on cleaning solutions that deliver more than just a clean space. Janny King comes with regional support, which ensures consistency and quality, allowing you to focus on all the other needs of your business. Go to JannyKingCleans.com.
Janny King, the king of clean.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Back. Folks, if you just catch a segment here or there and you want to listen back, maybe even listen back to your call, you can always go to Joey Clark Live on YouTube or follow me on X at the Joey Clark. And for folks just tuning in, this is a local talk radio show out of Montgomery, Alabama. We cover all sorts of things, not just local issues. And joining us now, a great sponsor, Austin Baranko with Invista Advisors. How you doing today, Austin?
Well, having a great Friday, Joey. Looking forward to the weekend. How about you?
Likewise. I'm having a good day so far, and I'm looking to relax. And I've got my brother and his daughter, my niece, coming down, see my dad first on the coast, then coming to these parts. I'm really looking forward to seeing all them. So the future's bright.
Yeah, hadn't seen Will in a while. Hope he's doing well.
Yeah, he's doing great. Just talked to him last night. I'll let him know you said hello.
Yeah.
Now, going from something very wholesome to Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum.
Klaus.
So this guy has to resign under scandal. What's your take on this?
Yeah. So, I love the fact that you mentioned this earlier on the show because I've been scratching my head at this as well. And I'm drawing a correlation to Ray Dalio and Bridgewater. I don't know if you've ever heard of Bridgewater. I'm sure you've heard of Ray Dalio. He at one point was the most famous hedge fund manager in the world. And he was just successful year after year after year, and then kind of got big-headed and I would even argue a little outdated in his investment approach and style, but was above reproach and constantly trying to, weasel out of accountability in my mind. And there was a book written about it called The Fund, which details all of these things. And as I was reading into Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum and what's going on with him, I was drawing so many correlations. You basically got a guy who, creates this nonprofit. I would call it more of an association. They categorize it as a public-private partnership or collaboration that's supposed to foster partnership between various sectors and businesses around the globe. But really what it is it's a nonprofit organization that raises money and lobbies on behalf of special interest of the wealthiest people in the world. Maybe get subsidies from this government and be able to move, raw goods from point A to point B in a more effective and cheaper way based on, hey, this person slid some money under the table, potentially through the WEF. But the world doesn't necessarily work that way anymore. Handshake agreements, I'll call the old school way of business. And I think that Klaus is just getting caught up in the inability to come up to date with, modern finance and how it's done. It's not really old boys club anymore where y'all get in a room with a bunch of the richest people in the world and make some decisions without others. And I think that he's kind of, from what I've read, closed off those that are the most, intelligent and meaningful allies around him and replace them with people that are, friends, but not necessarily up to speed on high finance. And he's run off all of his allies. And so some of the scandal I'm reading is, to me, I wouldn't categorize it as a huge scandal. He's apparently some of his underlings have been asked to withdraw thousands of dollars on his behalf. I mean, dude, the guy could sneeze and, thousands of dollars would come out of his nose. He's a multi-billionaire. Like, having his juniors pull out thousands of dollars from an ATM, that's not a big deal to me. But what is a big deal is he's created a really fantastic organization but has refused to create a succession plan that doesn't include himself. And if you want this organization to live on in perpetuity and create and foster a good environment for public-private collaboration, you need a succession plan with, someone younger and more up to speed. And he never wanted to relinquish that power, so he outlived his reign and is now in scandal, being forced to step down, essentially. And so that's my take on it. And you see that in some of the largest organizations around the world. But the one that I highlight the most is Bridgewater Cap, run by Ray Dalio. And if you ever read that book, The Fund, highly encourage it. I draw so many correlations between that and the World Economic Forum.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. And I think it adds into something else I was talking about last hour with there are way too many folks who have held on for way too long in positions of power, government, top flight business, and other ways. And then it's kind of time to pass on the reins. And if you don't, you're maybe going to build up resentment underneath you. So that might be where some of the scandals come from. I'm definitely tracking there, and we'll have to check out that book. Before I let you go, though, let's tell folks again, let's remind them about what y'all at Invista Advisors can do for folks to, say, plan their financial future out.
Yeah, so, we are a financial services institution. I like to think that we do grow with the times, and we're more modern, and we lead with planning here, which is kind of the new wave of management. Historically, you would hire a broker to buy and sell, investments on your behalf. And while we do that, our primary focus is on identifying what you as an individual need in your life, whether it's putting kids through college or preparing for a long-term care event or taking care of an elderly parent. Whatever you need, financially to succeed and meet your goals, we will map out that plan, quantify it for you, and then talk about the investment opportunities that could, potentially help you achieve that. But we're planning forward, and investments are secondary. But anything in the realm of finance that you need help with, please give us a call, and we're happy to have a discussion and build a plan for you.
And folks, to start that discussion, just call them up at 387-0094. Again, that's 387-0094. When you call up at Vista Advisors, be sure to say, hey, I heard Austin Brake on the radio with Joey Clark. Want to see what y'all can do for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Joe. And you have a great weekend with the family, and I'll talk to you next week.
You too. Thanks, man. Again, that's Austin Brink with Invista Advisors. Always appreciate his insights and time. And the Klaus Schwab being thrown out, it's definitely, I didn't know the man was 88. 88. That's crazy. Yeah, when I saw the in-room massages, I'm like, what does that mean? Who's giving that guy a massage? Oh, let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Joey.
Hey, Soldier Boy, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm great. Just wish I had video of that fight down on Ann Street, apparently.
Oh, I heard about that. Well, that's not uncommon. 2 things I'd like to talk about, okay? First thing is, I don't know if I mentioned, I was not walking, that Walmart over there by Congressman Dickerson? It's not a super Walmart, but it's one of those grocery store type ones.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it's a little barbecue place there. And there's a Burger King restaurant right there, a brand new one right in front of Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I said, you know what? I want a Whopper with cheese today. So I drive over there. Nobody there. I said, well, maybe it's a new building and they haven't hired anybody and they haven't opened yet. It's just brand new, right? Because I don't go to that side of town too often. So the next thing I know, there's signs on the window. I was like, well, maybe they're going to announce when they're going to open, and everything. You know what it said on there? Restaurant has closed due to personnel issues and lack of ability to hire individuals who want to work.
Crazy.
Unbelievable. So you got a guy that probably spent $1 million or $1.5 million or got loans for it, a guaranteed loan from an institution to buy the land, first of all, okay? Then to buy the franchise, and then pay for the building to be built.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that building can't be, cheap like a house, because it's a specialized building. So you put in $1 million, $1.5 million, okay? And you can't get people to want to work. Why would you ever go into business again?
Oh, it's a great question. And it's like, it sounds like they did hire people and they just didn't show up or something like that.
Or or you couldn't get enough people that wants to work.
And I can understand would you want to work there? Or I don't want to work there.
Well, it might be something that somebody's a retired person who wants to work part-time just to keep
or
busy,
if you really need money, need to eat, you'll work there. But
I mean, but you go to Chick-fil-A, you don't find people work shortage as Chick-fil-A employees, do you?
Well, that's because they'll disappear people if they don't show up.
Well, but here's the sad thing about it is okay. They take that building. Say it's $1.5 million. I'm just making this number up. Okay, you have to file for You're going to have to file for bankruptcy. Okay, who in the long term pays for that bankruptcy? Me, you, and the taxpayers, because the federal government writes that off, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lien holder. So we end up paying for people not wanting to work. Okay, and before you even built that, you had to go to the people who are, the people who are going to loan you that money and sign off on it and say, hey, this is a great idea. We like your business plan. We like the location. It's right in front of the Walmart right here. A lot of foot traffic. It's near the
and it seemed to work. And you were about to stop by in there and get a Whopper with cheese. I mean, what did you end up doing?
Yeah. I didn't get a Whopper with cheese, I'll tell you that much.
What'd you get?
I went to that barbecue place right on Fat Boys, I think it was.
Okay, nice.
Okay. And then, it wasn't, Soldier Boy was going to get something to eat somewhere. But I'm just saying, it's sad to see that happen today because I've never seen it in my lifetime. Okay.
Oh no, it's still a hangover from the COVID era. It really started there, and I think there are a lot of folks who are like, well, I can get by on unemployment. I can get by in other ways, living with somebody, and I don't want to work some dead end job at a fast food joint.
Yeah. Well, that's what I told my friend of mine. I said, if people are not working, he said, well, people are just not working. I said, man, I wonder how you pay your bills. I said, I need to learn this secret. You know what I mean? Second thing is, I just heard on your news report, Hyundai is bringing some of its vehicles from Mexico to, was it the Tucson? Or they call it the Tucson? Tucson,
great news for Montgomery.
From Mexico to Montgomery because of ahead of the Trump's tariffs.
Yep.
So that shows you 100% right there is working the tariff, or it's going to work not as fast as next day or the next tomorrow or next 24 hours. But see how it's in businesses, they're going to have to retool things and, and everything for the factory. And what happens to that, Joey? You're going to hire more people, aren't you?
Of course. That's great news.
It is great news. But it reaffirms what Trump is trying to do. I have friends of mine that wanted it to happen within the first 30, 60, 90 days. It don't work that way. I told them. And then when I heard that, I called them up and I said, did you hear that? They go, oh, yeah, we heard it. And I said, that shows you right there that these are multi-billion-dollar companies that are starting to adjust their business style and plan because of the tariffs that are coming. They haven't hit yet, but they're going to come. So they're going to try to get ahead of it and make it here. Thus, we need more people to work, creating more jobs. Now, what I hope is, I go back to the Burger King, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope we don't have the same problem that we did at Burger King.
Well, that's a good point.
Here, if we bring these jobs here, there better be people ready to work these damn jobs, or they're not going to bring them back. Would you? No, I wouldn't bring it back. I can't get especially they're bringing them here because they've probably got the land and everything else that's ready to absorb it. Okay, and they're looking at that. But I look back and I go back to the Burger King. I don't want them to be like Burger King, build that building, build that place and factory for that car, and then have the same damn problem. We ain't got people to run the factories, work the auto line.
No, it's a real concern. And as much as say the neoliberal model of like trading and having all these jobs offshore, yada yada yada, has caused a lot of heartache. I think also Americans at times probably need to look in the mirror that it is maybe a fetish and worship of markets that's a problem. I agree with that. You shouldn't worship markets. You're more than just an economic unit or an economic being. You have other concerns in life. But if you look at like, are people actually, the things that make somebody an entrepreneur aren't just about dollars and cents, right? It's about that go get it attitude. It's about that self-starting attitude, that discipline attitude. Yeah, you go down the line, and you got to wonder, is that still exist in a say critical mass of the population?
Well, that's what I was going to say. If you don't have entrepreneurs, then they don't create jobs. They don't create jobs, and people don't work, and they just don't understand. You watch Shark Tank, okay? They always talk about entrepreneurship. That's the whole show's about, being an entrepreneur, okay? And they talk about being and what they invest in sometimes in the person, not so much the business plan, but the person. They see the hunger in that person, the person who's willing to sacrifice and not pay themselves, you know what I mean? Put everything back into the company and their business, and they look at that. That's kind of entrepreneurs that they want, okay? Because they'll ask him, and he's like, "Well, I'm my third mortgage on it." He says, "Oh, you're all in," and he goes, "Yeah." He says, "I moved in with our my wife's family, and we sold our house, and I mean, you're all in." That shows entrepreneur hunger that you want, and that's the kind of person you want to invest in.
And it's a bit of a chicken or the egg problem. Like you could say somebody can't do, so we need to help them. But the more you subsidize people who can't do, you're going to get more folks who can't do. And you don't want to leave people in a lurch. I don't hear anybody really calling for ending all safety nets, though. That's always the word in case you want to cut back on anything, right? You're throwing grandma off a cliff.
What they say is you want to give a helping hand, not a handout.
Yeah. Well, the devil's in the details there.
Well, yeah. Well, and I just wanted to say something about that Burger King, and then I hear the jobs coming to Montgomery, which is great news, meaning you got to hire more people with good paying jobs and future businesses that they'll want to work for long term, hopefully. But let's not hope we have the situation. Well, the mayor has to listen to this, because sometimes at the Hyundai plant, they got people that live 100 miles away and take almost an hour, 2 hours to come to work, when there are plenty of, unskilled or uneducated individuals in Montgomery because of our school systems that can't apply or do the jobs or fill out the applications right here in our own hometown, where just down the street is the factory.
And you need to create a culture in Montgomery that people want to stay, not that they want to leave as soon as they get a good education. And that's it's got to start today or yesterday even.
Well, the Mayor Strange said, so goes education, so goes Montgomery.
Well, I agree with you. I appreciate it, Soldier Boy. I got to run, man. Thank you.
Right then, later.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that fantastic team, really amazing staff there, are ready to help you with any and all of your pest control needs. It could be you just want basic pest control protection, around the clock, year round. They got your back there at Pest Pro. Of course, they can also provide that termite protection and inspection, so those termites never even cause a problem with your property. You nip it in the bud. And speaking of nipping in the bud, mosquito season is upon us. Why not call up Pest Pro? Instead of spraying yourself every time you want to enjoy the backyard or the front porch after a nice fill-in dinner, instead of spraying yourself or lighting up one of those candles that don't really work, why not treat the problem at its origin, treat the yard directly so you never really get that mosquito issue? Pest Pro Services can do that for you. And at Pest Pro, it's not like, they stop by once, kind of wait for you to call back. No, they get you on a plan. They're going to be showing up about 8 times at peak mosquito season, so you can, again, actually enjoy your property without them going after that sweet meat. Y'all check out Pest Pro Services today. You can always learn more at ppsriverregion.com or see the latest they got going on Facebook. Just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. Always got great community events, giving back, highlighting great local athletes. Get by Pest Pro Services on Facebook to learn more there. And, of course, you can call them direct, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that fantastic team that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this? Hello? Hey, come on. Like, you can't just, okay, you're listening to the radio. It's a delay. Come on. Hello.
Joey?
Hey.
This is Babs. I'm sorry. We had a really bad connection, and I didn't hear you at first.
How are you doing, Babs?
I'm doing good. First of all, I want to tell you what a great part of the show earlier. That I'm in total agreement. Get these old codgers out of there. And I'm old, but I'm also smart enough to retire. But the one thing that I did want to say, and I haven't experienced it myself, it was through some friends, But a lot of the problem with kids, these young people not being able to get a job is not being able to pass a drug test. And marijuana messes it up. So
You're right. No, then there are a lot of folks that you might be surprised at how, like even high up professional folks, educated, probably do that stuff in a mild way. And there's still standards and drug tests. I wonder though, with restaurants, if they started really seriously drug testing restaurants, like people work in the kitchen, I don't think they'd have anybody to work
they
in the
wouldn't.
kitchen.
They'd be like that Burger King.
Right.
Well, listen, bud, like I told you, I love you. I miss Eddie. Where's Eddie?
I think he's just busy. Always be closing, as he says.
Well, hey, good for him. Good for him. I love the show, as Robert would say, and love you. And I hope you have a great rest of the day and a wonderful weekend seeing your family. So,
Thank you,
catch up
Babs.
with you later, bud. Take care.
Later. Bye. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Plenty more to get to. Of course, plenty being kicked around by the Trump administration as they try to get these peace deals negotiated, as more folks are worried about the markets going ahead, as well as also the fight within the deep state. Tulsi Gabbard recommending pretty serious charges against deep state leakers, saying that ends now. And what's buzzing online is, well, the arrest of some of these judges who have been aiding directly illegal aliens from capture by the federal government. One judge, I believe in Milwaukee, recently arrested. We can get into the details of that. But if you want to join the conversation before that, again, that's 272-9228. You're on there. Who's this?
They don't test for marijuana anymore. I was surprised.
They don't. Who doesn't test for it?
I don't want to say on the air, but a major government place, you know.
Oh, really?
Don't, and then a major retailer. They do drug testing, but they do not test for marijuana anymore.
No, and it's because I think it's so common now. And if a person's high on the job, that's a problem. But like if somebody gets a little high at night or whatever, it's kind of like they drank a few beers at night. You gonna fire somebody for that? As long as they're showing up on time doing the job? Like, come on.
Man, I tell you, keep the contact high off some of the employees.
Oh, there is some serious stuff out there. Well, and people go, well, why is that? It really is a product of prohibition. It's the same thing happened with alcohol prohibition. That once you put a prohibition, people try to make it more potent, so it's easier to actually smuggle around, and then it's popular, and people get used to the really strong stuff. I think that stuff's bonkers, honestly. Some of you're blowing your head out when you smoke some of that stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, sometimes, well, and then, like I said, I don't want to name the name of the place, but there's this other place where I do some shopping at. And I thought, I smelled it so strong. I said, is he smoking right now? He was stocking his shelf. I thought he had one burning in the aisle, but he didn't. And I know that company drug tests as well. And but they don't, not for marijuana. Marijuana is clean and green, apparently. And of course, if you ever been behind a car at a red light where it looks like it's on fire and smell it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, Montgomery smells like perpetual spring. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and so does New York City and Washington, D.C. So anyway, the cows are out of the barn on that one.
Yeah, and I never understood, by the way, this culture of riding and smoking. Like, let's go hop in the car and smoke a blunt or something. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, that's just the easiest way to, number one, get caught. And you shouldn't be operating a vehicle smoking all that stuff. Like,
I know a girl that's she's a bus driver for a county, and county bus driver, part time. And this little girl gets on the bus. It's a child. It's probably about 10 years old or so. And the clothes reek so bad. And so she knows, well, okay, it's the parents and, where they live and all the clothes smell like marijuana. Until the little girl was lighting up a joint in the back of the bus.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That ain't good.
That's about 10 years old.
Wow, man. That's just
So,
it's not good, but at least it's fun, ain't it?
she reported it to the police, the
Right.
principal and all that stuff, and they didn't do anything. I mean, they didn't even suspend the girl from the bus because it's just that's 2024.
Well, you
I know
suspend
it's
her, she just goes.
2025, but this was last year.
Right. Yeah, but you suspend her and she just goes smoke some more at home. Doesn't stop the problem.
Well, I think that was their theory, and of course, they need the attendance so they can get the funding. Anyway, I just thought I'd add that in there. They've already given up on the marijuana. It's just over.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Bye.
272-9228. Well, the legislature hasn't quite given up on we want to tax it and regulate it and really regulate it in absurd ways. Like we clearly don't understand the product. We'll see going forward. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. You're on there. Who's this?
So, yeah, did you guys talk?
I'm having a tough time understanding you. How about this? I need to hit a quick break. Let me hang up and you call me back, see if we can get a better connection here. Be right back, folks, after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
With spring officially here, Pizza Perfect has sprung a great deal for April. Get a free order of breadsticks or cinnamon sticks with the purchase of any large pizza. That'll make the whole family smile. Pizza Perfect's amazing buffet includes pizza, as well as spaghetti, breadsticks, salad, dessert, and drink for only $13. The buffet is available Monday through Saturday for lunch and for dinner on Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. Pizza Perfect is also available for pickup and delivery. Pizza Perfect on Coliseum Boulevard in Eastbrook.
You want your floors to scream new, fresh, and stylish. But if yours are groaning, tired, old, and outdated, you're in luck because the Prattville Carpet Spring Sale is your opportunity to revitalize your floors while you save on the best brands available, including Mohawk, with perfect and professional installation and Prattville Carpet's unbeatable lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement. Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Start shopping now at PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the healthcare of the people of the River Region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River Region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or
205-479-0839.
I see.
Yes, he is our preferred money man.
The money man with the money plan.
You've been paying attention.
Well, could you give us those numbers one more time?
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not an elk.
Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you?
Knights of Columbus.
I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby liked it.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime. And as usual, it's already time to start getting ready for spring. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 13 years in a row. The Alabama Lawn staff is made up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in a lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns. 272-7171.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing.
Hey, this is Robbie Clark. Stay cool with a spring tune-up with Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. Don't wait. Schedule today. Give us a call at 334-277-2125. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas weather.
Oh, hi, everybody. No surprises in the forecast. It's starting to sound similar a lot of days. Yes, there will be more showers and storms on the radar today, but they will be random. Some towns get wet, other towns stay dry. Sunshine will be limited with highs in the mid to upper 80s, lows at night in the mid 60s. Saturday, I think we're up to about 88 with isolated storms for a few towns. And then by Sunday and Monday, I have the rain chances 20% or less with highs 88 to 90. Sounds like summertime. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phone and talk to Dave. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I was just calling to get in on the pot conversation. I kind of want to know where this utopia is that you can have legal recreational marijuana and you have like your schools are all scoring in the top 10%. You know, you don't have any trouble with crime and your roads are all fixed. Because I haven't found this place yet, but you know, I may not be it. I actually grew up where marijuana was non-criminalized.
Where'd you grow up?
And it was in Anchorage, Alaska.
Okay.
And it was not all wonderful. I had when I was in high school, we had a bus driver that would come pick us up, and he would pull off 15 minutes before picking us up and light up a joint. So he'd be smoking that, taking us to school. Not quite sure. Then my other thing was you mentioned that smoking pot doesn't really involve other people, but that's not really true because if you smoke pot on Friday and get high, you still have it in your system on Monday. If I go out and drink on Friday and get plastered, I don't have the alcohol in my system on Monday. So
wait, how much did you smoke on Friday if you're still high on Monday? That'd be a lot.
It's still in your system. I'm not saying that you still necessarily feel the buzz, but it's still in your system. And my argument is it's still may have an impact on your thinking process, even though you don't think it is.
Okay. So I mean, I don't know what we're arguing about. I would say there are clearly downsides to smoking marijuana. I just don't think the downsides are enough. Prohibition didn't work. Like it even when illegal, became more and more and is quite prevalent.
Right, but the thing with prohibition with alcohol was legal to start with, and then they made it illegal. That was part of the problem with the prohibition versus having something to start off as being illegal and then keeping it illegal.
Well, I mean, hemp and marijuana were legal for a long time in this country, and in some ways, that like the extra enforcement against marijuana happens after you stop doing the alcohol prohibition. And in some ways, too, you get this sort of forbidden fruit effect where it's like, I think the way we've done drugs in this country, it really is a shame because you did have things like the whole psychedelic stuff. You had the government studying it, and I mean, some saying the government using it, but I don't want to go down the whole MK Ultra road. But I would rather we had studied these things and treated them seriously rather than just say this is verboten, it's forbidden fruit. And then these things become this counterculture movement. They become party drugs. And I think people lose their minds. Some of the best and brightest, especially say of the 60s, the early boomers maybe destroyed their lives doing a lot of that stuff. And instead, it would be better to understand this stuff and move forward in that way. On the marijuana front, though, I mean, it's very prevalent and became prevalent under a regime of prohibition, is my point. Like, even when it was still very illegal, it's very easy to find, and people do it.
Right, but again, that doesn't necessarily mean you should just go ahead and if I guess my issue is that you're just going to cause more problems by legalizing it than you're going to solve. I don't see where that's going to fix the problem. The problem is that you need to have people being more responsible, not say, okay, well, let's just go ahead and do it. Everyone does it anyway. Because I know where I grew up, when it was allowed to be used, that's when they got a stranglehold on everything. And then when they tried to cut it back, it became it was much more difficult because they had gotten so ingrained. So I guess that's my point, is that if we let it get more and more ingrained, then that's the problem. We need to be more proactive on it. Again, where's this utopia where all these things are being allowed and it makes our lives better? I don't see that anywhere.
Well, I mean, it is individual cases too. Like, there are clearly just folks who smoke pot in the same way drunks drink too much alcohol. There's stoners and there are drunks, but then there are folks that say smoke pot or use gummies or whatever these things are because, say, they were put on pain medication at the age of 15 for youth arthritis, and they realize these opioids they're hooked on is destroying their body, destroying their mental health, and they find this other thing that mitigates symptoms, and it doesn't have the same downsides of the legal prescription. There are some folks that much prefer a little bit of pot in the evening and in the workday than it does, than drink a few beers or drink liquor or anything like that. I mean, there are edge cases and there are a lot of trade-offs, and I think I would rather see the trade-off and the responsibility play out on the individual family level. Private businesses can, of course, regulate who they want to hire, who they want to fire based on these things. I just think the government prohibition on this stuff failed. So it just did. And doubling down on a failed policy seems like it's not going to, it leaves us in the same rut. And I'm not denying there are trade-offs to this and there are downsides to this.
Right. So yeah, well, that was pretty much my beef, is that I hear the pro-pot people talk about pot as this, it's like coffee and caffeine, that it's just this herbal thing, that there's no downside to it. And that's just not the truth. There's some pretty serious downsides to marijuana, but no one wants to really talk about those. It's always presented as, it's this healthy, wholesome option, which just isn't fully the case. I mean, you have to, I guess that's my frustration. I'm not hearing.
And again, it depends on the community, depends on how you're using it. For instance, a lot of marijuana and cannabis is very popular in the, say, high-up jiu-jitsu community and training, because it allows you to focus, know how your body's moving, very focused on that mind-muscle connection, and you get into this sort of flow state easier. I mean, you're not talking large amounts, and of course, yeah, there are stoners, there are people with different tolerances, There are drunks. There's all sorts of things. I would say marijuana is another drug. It's absurd to put it as Schedule 1 when you compare it to the other drugs on Schedule 1. Maybe you schedule it differently. And I think just more information. It's my point earlier. I think especially say during the 60s and the counterculture, all this stuff, the majority, the silent majority with Nixon, picked some certain things and put them in the box of this is forbidden and verboten. But then we'll put all these other things to where the doctor can prescribe it. And it hasn't exactly worked out well in the long run. I think there are ways to balance all this stuff out. And
they did prescribe marijuana at one point in time for medicinal purposes.
Yeah, you're right. There are some old programs.
People with
like
glaucoma would be prescribed marijuana to help with the glaucoma, and it was something the doctor managed. And I have a problem with that if you have someone managing it, and making sure that it's not getting out of hand. But if you just go and go, okay, well, we're just going to let you go do it, however much you want. Yes, there's people who can manage that, but then there's not people who can manage that. And I'm not certain that we're being gracious for the people who can't manage that.
Well, and I fully admit, and if you've been listening to me for a while, Dave, I fully admit I have a bias towards the libertarian individual liberty principle, to where people can engage in irresponsible behavior, that I would tell them as friends, you shouldn't do that. Maybe you should change. Like the habits you have aren't working out for you. Or if I hire somebody and they're not doing the job well, they're stoned or drunk on the job, get out of here, you're fired. I mean, there's different ways you can go about regulating this that isn't the approach we tried for a few decades.
Right. So, but yeah, and I have some libertarian tendencies myself, so I understand that I guess it's just, again, the frustration of hearing so many people talking about this utopia that they're looking at and living in that situation. It's like, well, no, it's not quite the utopia you think it's going to be.
Well, those people are doing themselves a disservice. We're denied utopia on this side of Eden. That's just the breaks. And I think people oversold it as in the same way. I think the overselling of the benefits was a response to the overselling of the downside. And I think a more nuanced discussion it ends up being on an individual level. And some people hate it. Some people don't like it at all, like on a personal basis. And good for you. Like, I don't want to force anybody to do anything is I guess my landing place.
Right. And I understand that too. So, but again, it's just, I try to figure out a more balanced approach to it. And so, but I don't want to take up, all your time. I appreciate though you let me kind of rant this out a little bit. So,
that's cool.
I do listen to you pretty regularly, and so I a lot of times I do agree with you. It's just this particular subject. It's like it seems like it gets mostly the positive side presented without anyone ever talking about. Well, no, there's some serious downsides to marijuana consumption.
Oh yeah,
it's never really pointed out.
No, for instance, if you are a teenager or you're under the age of 25 and you're blowing your brains out, smoking this every day, a lot of amount, you're going to affect your brain functioning very clearly and formation. It might be on the stuff on schizophrenia. From what I've seen, think it causes schizophrenia. I think though it can trigger it early in people where it might be lying latent already. So if somebody's already prone for all sorts of reasons, they might end up being schizophrenic. It could accelerate that. And so, that again, all this stuff needs to be studied a lot more, and also recognize that people are going to take all sorts of things to try to figure out what's best for them in their life. And more information, less of it being a party drug, less of it being sort of a drug of despair, like how you see people use alcohol or other awful things. To me, at the end of the day, drug use is often much more about a psychological issue underlying a person and less about the chemical hook. In fact, in my upper lip right now is probably the hardest chemical hook I've ever experienced. It's called nicotine. It's very tough to, it's like my car will drive itself into the gas station to go get more nicotine pouches. And that's like the only thing in life.
And that's something that we should have, in my opinion, we should have caught that early on too, but we didn't. It was legalized, and everyone's got hooked on it. And I have sympathy for people who are older and had got hooked on it and didn't know what the dangers of how intense that nicotine hook is.
Right.
You know, and so, but you know, we can't. It's here, so.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate it, Dave. Thank you for the call, man.
All right, have a good day.
272-9228. This is part of the program. In fact, the entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you with buying a home. Maybe it's your first time buying. You want to go with folks that can guide you through the process, folks you can trust, who are going to get you the best possible deal. Alabama Home Mortgage, that's the place. All starts with pre-approval, and they'll walk with you every step of the way, all the way to closing day. Maybe you've done it before, but again, you want a local lender you can trust, not some internet company or some big bank. And maybe you're looking for a refinance deal to get credit card debt off your back, or you're looking to reinvest in your property or help out a family member. I mean, there's a lot of reasons you might want to use that equity built up in your home. Alabama Home Mortgage can help you do just that. And especially if you're a veteran, they specialize there at Alabama Home Mortgage in helping veterans take advantage of the VA home loan benefits y'all earned through your service. So call them up today, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 158638, an equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hey, y'all, Lewis at the Capital Oyster Bar. We're located over here on the beautiful Alabama River, and we cook up fresh seafood. Got a fryer, a steamer, and a grill. We can cook seafood any way you like it. And we also got a killer ribeye, good old hamburger. Got some good eating down here. You can check everything out at capitaloysterbar.com or go to our Facebook page. You're going to see how you can rent you a pontoon boat. All you need is a driver's license and a credit card, and you can have a great day on the river. We also got an RV park down here. You can come down here and join us for a little while or stay a little longer. Then all you got to do is walk right next door to get you some good eating. And don't forget about when you come over Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock. We do this every Sunday. We bring you in some great live entertainment. This week from up in the Boston area, Misty Blues Band. Miss Gina Coleman is bringing her band to town. These guys have been together 25 years. It's just a great show. If you like live entertainment, if you love live music, give it a shot. Come join us Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock. Don't forget, good eating down here. Showtime 4 o'clock Sunday. We look forward to seeing you, and come hungry.
Is your car looking tired, weary, and in desperate need of a makeover? Mr. Ben's Auto Spa on the Atlanta Highway has added a professional detail shop. Specialized techniques and products are used to get your vehicle back to showroom style. Hand washing, waxing, stain removal, odor removal, minor scratch removal, shampooing, and more. This is precision detailing perfected. Mr. Ben's Auto Spa, next to Fraser Church on the Atlanta Highway. Because your car deserves the royal treatment. Come by for a free estimate. Look like you've been to Mr. Ben's.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 158638, an equal housing lender.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Looking to get Michael Cohen on the line here soon. Real quick, I want to play, Steve Bannon kind of repeating at the World Economic Summit put on by Semaphore. Exactly what I've been saying for a while now, and in terms of the awful things bubbling up. In this case, he's focusing on some of the stuff bubbling up more on the left wing. Let's listen in together.
We are narrowing our choices and our alternatives. I don't care if it's Bernie Sanders and AOC or Donald Trump. As a country, we have to come to a solution to this. And what the Harvard and the colleges and the law firms show you, it's all federal money. The reason Paul Weiss cratered was because of the federal money. You're going to lose your security clearance. You're not going to be able to work for jobs. By the way, there's one line in there. No client of yours is going to be eligible for federal funds. The same thing with Harvard. Harvard's all about federal money. Everybody's got their snout in the trough. And who pays for it? The little guy. That's why it's so frustrating. And here's the thing. The alternative the populist nationalists offer is an alternative that you can see the sunlit uplands. Tons of change has to happen. But the other alternative, I'm telling you, is this Luigi. The look he's treated like a hero. He's treated like Robin Hood. That should scare you to the marrow of your bones, because that's the alternative. If the system keeps going like it is, that alternative is your alternative. We offer, the populist nationalists offer something you're not going to love, but you'll be able to live with.
Something you're not going to love, but you'll be able to live with. And he's absolutely right about some of the other stuff that might be presented by people like AOC, God forbid, or maybe a spokesman actually more effective. But let's go to the phone to talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Good to hear. And what's the score there today at Cohen's?
It's 21 to zip. Got Michael Jackson running in all different directions. Had to go help a nice little old couple hook up their television. And, you know, it's really strange when you think in today's world that some cable company has got someone's older TV still hooked up with a coax cable. That just is mind-boggling that could happen in 2025.
And so there, what does Michael even Jax do when he sees something like that?
Well, I mean, we talked to the customer before I sent him out there this morning, and you know, then he's the one that had the wherewithal to ask the question. He says, "Are you screwing the cable on, or does it plug in?" And he says, "Well, it's a screw on." And then he's like, "Oh my God, that's what they did it with picture tube TVs." Wow. And I know we're not replacing a picture tube TV, so I mean, someone had to reconnect it to a flat panel. And so anyway, but Michael Jackson went out there this morning, got it taken care of. Then he's headed down to Troy to fix the outdoor subwoofer that's buried in the ground. And one of the speakers that one of the landscapers has cut down when they planted new plants in the flower bed.
Well, so, I've seen the man in action myself firsthand, and really great guy and great service. And I know that's what y'all shoot for there at Cohen's, whether it's on the TV electronic side or say on the appliance side. And folks, you can always shop from home, peruse the site at thinkcohens.com, or I encourage you to just stop by 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And hey, maybe you already know what you want and you just call them direct at 277-8890. They can help you out. But I encourage you to go by there, find Michael, and tell him, hey, I heard you on that radio show with Joey.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, come see us, ask us some questions, let us ask you some questions, and let us help you make the right choice. And the biggest thing to remember also, besides the service and everything, is we're going to have the same price as the big box stores, whether it's appliances or electronics. So come see us, and you'll be amazed.
Well, I appreciate it, Michael. Hope you have a good weekend, too.
Hey, you too. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Again, that's Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Again, when you stop by, when you do business with him, be sure to tell him you heard about him here on that radio show with that Joey Clark fella. Well, final hour coming up. I don't even know the next thing I'm going to go to. I might keep going with, it was a very good interview Semaphore put on with Steve Bannon. And though I don't agree with every little thing Bannon has to say, and certainly not every comment he makes, as provocative as the man can be, I think his read on where the world is going, the problems facing this country and a lot of the world, are spot on. I think his diagnosis of the issue is quite sound. And I think he gets a lot of the prescription on how to fix it right as well. But at least you get the diagnosis down. If we can all, occupy the same world, that this is what the problems are, how do we fix them? It would be better to have a conversation, disagreements over the fixing, rather than continue to argue what the fundamental issues that face us are. And yet that's the world we live in. It's the old line. We're all looking at the same screen and we're seeing two different movies, or in our case, more than two. Everything's a political Rorschach test these days. And hopefully that is put to rest where we all see the same thing and we can then argue and fight and bellyache over how do you actually fix it. Final hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Forecasters warning of low humidity and gusty wind have increased the risk fire could spread across parts of New Jersey, Philadelphia, and its suburbs, and Delaware, as firefighters continue to battle a vast wildfire in the Pine Barrens. The National Weather Service has discouraged any outdoor burning. Disgraced former U.S. Representative George Santos has been sentenced to over 7 years in prison. The New York Republican pleaded guilty last summer to federal wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. Negotiations between Iran and the United States over Tehran's rapidly advancing nuclear program are set to return to Oman. Experts on both sides will meet Saturday to start hammering out the technical details of any possible deal. The Dow dropping 36 points. The NASDAQ is up 173. This is SRN News.
Hey, everybody. Charlie Kirk here. As executive director of Turning Point USA, a national radio host, podcaster, husband, and father of two, my schedule is about as crazy as it can possibly get. 2 years ago, I made the decision to take control of my health, and I chose PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition because I needed a plan that fit my hectic lifestyle. I travel a lot, and my schedule changes every week, so I need something simple. They customized a plan for my body and my schedule, and I quickly lost 30 pounds. Now I have the energy and focus to get through my busy day. PhD will help you too. They won't let you fail. Just give them a call, schedule your weight loss consultation, and see if their program is right for you. Call 855-696-2020. That's 855-696-2020. The first 11 callers who mention the word healthy will get 2 weeks added to their weight loss package. Call 855-696-2020 and mention the word healthy, or visit them at myphdweightloss.com. That is myphdweightloss.com. It worked for me, and it can work for you. Myphdweightloss.com.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. It's time to get those gardens ready. From seeds to plants to fertilizer, MPM has what you need. Shop MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays, 8 to 1.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. No surprises in the forecast. It's starting to sound similar a lot of days. Yes, there will be more showers and storms on the radar today, but they will be random. Some towns get wet, other towns stay dry. Sunshine will be limited with highs in the mid to upper 80s, lows at night in the mid 60s. Saturday, I think we're up to about 88 with isolated storms for a few towns. And then by Sunday and Monday, I have the rain chances 20% or less with highs 88 to 90. Sounds like summertime. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Whether you're buying a home or auto or consolidating debt, CB&S Bank's personal loans get you where you need to go. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you or apply online today. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
1819 News.
An Alabama man did have final words before being put to death by lethal injection this past Thursday night at the Holman Correctional Facility. 55-year-old James Osgood spoke the name of the victim that he raped and murdered back in 2010, Tracy Lynn Brown. Osgood revealed that he had never said that victim's name out loud since the day of that murder, but on the gurney in the execution room, Osgood said, "Tracy, I apologize." Osgood was pronounced dead by way of lethal injection by 6:30 that night. Governor Ivey called the killing of Tracy Brown gruesome and disturbing and said that she is praying for the victim's family and hopes they can find closure. Attorney General Steve Marshall said his heartfelt prayers are with Tracy's family and the horror of her death that they have had to carry. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Covenant Rescue Group seeks to directly support organizations and agencies that are fighting the global battle against human trafficking. They do this through funding, procuring, and advocating. You can go to covenantrescue.org for further details. They need your donations, guys. Hop on and donate.
Birmingham family therapist Malia Stevens is hoping that two bills already passed by the Alabama Senate will be prioritized within the Alabama House in order to protect children from loopholes being exploited on smartphones and apps by sexual predators and pornographers.
So we spoke with a lead detective with Montgomery Police and with the Attorney General's office, who said that 98% of the child sexual exploitation cases they see in Alabama occur on these commonly used apps that are marketed as safe for kids, such as Roblox and Discord. And if the App Store Accountability Act were to pass, this type of legislation would go a tremendous way towards dramatically reducing child sexual exploitation in our state.
I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Join Jones Drugs on Saturday, April 26, 10 to 2, as they partner with the police department for the National DEA Drug Take Back event. Come by the parking lot of the Prattville, Millbrook, Montgomery, or Phoenix City locations and bring your unwanted, unneeded, or expired prescriptions. That's Saturday, April 26, 10 to 2.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Oh, girl, baby, girl. Oh, really? Don't even play.
Fat broads and horse-faced lesbians.
Shut
up, silly woman.
You are a rude, terrible person.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour here of the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. If you want to like and subscribe on YouTube, I would love it very much. Just search for Joey Clark Live on YouTube. And say maybe you call in, want to catch that segment, or you catch a tail end of a segment, a conversation I'm having. You're wondering, how did that all get started? Joey Clark Live on YouTube. And, of course, give me a follow on the X platform. That's at the Joey Clark on X. Welcome back. And the story that is on fire right now across, at least on X and many other places, is the arrest of Milwaukee Judge Hannah Dugan. The FBI ain't playing anymore, folks. They ain't playing at all. Also arrested Judge Juan Keno. Both arrested by the FBI in the past 24 hours for harboring illegals. Now, I've got a clip here of the Attorney General. She appeared on Fox earlier in the day to, in particular, explain why Milwaukee Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested by the FBI. What actually led that? Because that's a big deal. I mean, judges can be arrested like anybody else, but doing so might require a little explaining, little explanation. Well, let's go to Pam Bondi. Again, this was on Fox News earlier today, explaining, well, what exactly happened here.
Rare for victims to want to cooperate. They
wanted to cooperate. They were slurs that I get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out of private exit and tells them to leave, while a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Damn.
You know,
Can't
Madam
make this
Attorney
up.
General, great to have you here, and thanks for coming back on America Report. So we remember these words of Tom Homan, the border czar. This was March 17th, and his message on these judges who apparently are trying to get in the way of this administration's efforts. Listen.
I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
So when you see these judges trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer, what is your message to them?
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen, Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.
In fact, she just had an initial appearance in court. There's also this other case coming out of New Mexico. Judge Joel Cano and his wife were arrested for harboring a TDA member at their home. The alleged TDA member had been picked up by law enforcement, and now he and his wife were picked up and arrested. And you say that you believe, as the Attorney General, that the person that they were having living at their home was a truly potentially bad individual.
Yeah, that's the judge up on the screen now who got arrested. Yeah, his name is Ortega. He was is a known TDA member, So he comes through Eagle Pass, December 2023. He's living in our country. January 2025, ICE, they get a tip. Tom Homan's done a great job. Our FBI did a great job on this case too. They get a tip that he is living with a judge and the judge's wife. So they have him arrested first on immigration charges. A Judge Damian Martinez releases him, saying that Judge Cano has a good BS meter and wouldn't let just anyone live on his property.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at
kinky
the associations with this violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, and this person that they harbored in their home, he was showing signs through clothing, we were told, tattoos. There was evidence through voice messages and text messages of his association to TDA. So what charges will Cano and his wife face, if any?
So Judge Cano, soon to be former Judge Cano, got his charges were just unsealed. He's charged with obstruction. He admitted post Miranda. He took one of the TDA members' cell phones himself, took it, beat it with a hammer, destroyed it, and then walked the pieces to a city dumpster to dispose of it to protect him. The wife also is charged with destroying evidence. Sandra, not only that, this TDA member, and he had on a necklace that said kill, something about death. He had tattoos all over him. He also had on his cell phone pictures of two decapitated victims, decapitated, gruesome photos. And he was sending them out, and whoever he was sending them to was sending back, say, hey, you need to be careful. You shouldn't be sending these. You shouldn't be texting these photos out. Not only that, these two, the judge and his wife, gave him assault rifles that belonged to their daughter. That's what they're charged with. In the criminal report affidavit, he goes to a shooting range with these assault rifles, with a suppressor, with other known TDA members, and they're shooting. This is the last person that we want in our country, nor will we ever tolerate a judge or anyone else harboring them.
Daggum, folks. I mean, what is the world coming to? Got judges harboring hardened gang members. I don't know what sort of weird third wheel situation that was, but you could probably assume the worst. Heck, what have the gang got on the guy? Or was it just out of the goodness of their hearts?
The other one, Milwaukee's Judge Hannah Dugan, at least as the Attorney General just laid it out, in the middle of a proceeding, letting people out a private exit to escape. Some pretty serious allegations. What in the world? And of course, folks like, you can't arrest judges, and this is just the Trump administration fighting back. And it's like, okay. Seems like they broke the law. Of course, they'll have their day in court as well. Let's go to line one, talk to Lori. Hey, Lori, how are you?
Hey, Joey. How are you doing?
Good.
You're a smart fella.
I guess.
I was talking with my dad about this earlier in the week. If you are not born in this country and you are not legally here, you are not a U.S. citizen, where do you get constitutional rights? Except in the country that you're from.
Well, I mean, for instance, the Supreme Court just ruled on some of this. So, for instance, take the worst of the worst. These Tranny Aragua members or MS-13 members that have been classified as terrorist groups under the Alien Enemies Act. They still, the Supreme Court just ruled, have a right to what is, I believe, a habeas petition. And so these stretch back hundreds of years. It's part of our common law tradition to where you don't have the same rights as, say, a citizen, but our whole Constitution is based on the idea of individual rights to check the power of government. And God didn't stop endowing basic individual rights at the border. Everybody that comes in contact with our judiciary and with our government has some right to actually being heard and actually having a hearing. It's like in a habeas petition is by no means a full trial. It's not the same thing as, say, a citizen would get because they're not.
That seems crazy.
But I mean, it's a simple, say, due process thing. Now, you could question how much is this being log jammed, constipated in the courts. I think this is a very active campaign of lawfare to stretch out a process that actually should be much swifter than this. But
yes,
we'll
how
see.
can you put 20 million people on trial
Right.
in 4 years?
Well, and it could be. I asked Judge Knapp about this straight up, and Napolitano's very quick to criticize Trump and what some of the administration is doing. He said some of these could take a few minutes. Some might be a little more complicated, and they take hours, if not days. It's not like a normal trial. It's more a judge hearing with the person being represented by a lawyer. Okay, why do you think you shouldn't be taken out of the country? Are you not Tranny Aragua? Are you not MS-13? They have to have at least some time in court to make their case. And in some cases, it's obvious. It's like, no, you're clearly a TDA member. Get out. In other cases, it might be a little more complicated.
Yeah, and we're paying for it. I
Mhm.
mean, that's the problem. The taxpayers are paying for it. And it just doesn't seem right to me that they have as many rights as we do. And, they didn't come over here illegally, and those judges their ass should be thrown in jail. And the ones they were harboring, they should be deported.
I agree.
So that's my opinion.
Well, thank you, Lori.
All right. Thanks, Joey. Bye.
Tell your dad I said you were right. Anyway, 272-9228. And this is very much the Trump administration striking back. Like, they are not going to take the lawfare line down, especially this, at least as the Attorney General characterized it, pretty heinous behavior by judges. This is very different than the judge just passed a ruling or an injunction or whatever you didn't like that you think's ridiculous, say a nationwide injunction by a district judge. That's one thing you can complain about. Then you appeal it and you see where it goes. If you're literally letting defendants out the back door in the middle of proceedings, or you're harboring somebody and thus giving them special favors when they actually appear before the court, it's just, that's a bit much. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joe, you missed me yet?
Hey, Eddie Bader. How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm coming back from some land, and I was hearing you on the show. I didn't hear Craig. What's up?
He's sick today, but I'm wondering, did you
get a horse and live in the mountains someplace and don't bother anybody?
pretty close. I've looked at 160 acres up here in Otago County, and it looks very inviting to me.
Yeah, and yesterday, folks, he was sending me messenger images of snakes he almost stepped on, water moccasins, and that bunny. That gum, I didn't know bunnies could be that camouflage.
Oh man, that thing! I couldn't believe I could see it. As old as I am and as blind as I am, I could see it in the woods. I was impressed with myself, to be very honest. But I want to tell everybody, I'll be back Monday. God forbid, go another day without me. I'm tired of my phone blowing up. I'll be back to entertain my friend Joey on Monday.
Did you hear the beginning of the show?
I didn't. I just picked you up a few minutes ago. I just got back in the truck.
Okay, I want to bring if you got a second, I want to bring this up with you. Somebody sent me a screenshot of Montgomery Uncut. You know how that website can be. The City Watch, yeah. And let me see if I can find the exact thing. So I'll just read it verbatim. I'm looking at the screenshot now. Big fight on Ann Street this morning at gas station across from Chick-fil-A. Apparently 4 trans women severely assaulted another trans woman. Police and ambulance everywhere. And
were you out partying this morning, Joey?
No. And people are like, well, there's no video. Why would you even say it? And this is what we want. We want videos of trannies fighting. But my point was, I think it's a little difficult in this town. Do we know for a fact those were trannies, like trans women, or are those just some big old girls who pulled off another's weave?
Well, you got a good point there, Joey, because there's a lot of dudes and chicks in this town you can't really tell apart. I'm going to be very honest. Very honest. But we do have video. I'm sure we do, because the murder mark, which is probably where it happened, they've got video there. So I'm sure with a little encouragement, they'll turn it over.
Yeah, and this is what the world wants. We want tranny fights. We want to take selfies next to the dead Pope.
I saw that. Is that kind of tasteless? Am I wrong?
Kind of.
Okay, just checking. I don't know how you young, hip people do it, but that's my day. We kind of frown upon that.
No, it's crazy. It's like there's a dead old man, number one. He's also the Pope. Like there's thousands of people around you, and they had to tell people to put away their selfie sticks.
Oh my gosh. That's a sad state of the world we live in, brother.
And I didn't get to this yet, but it's a USC student and a UCLA student. They're gearing up to compete in the world's first ever sperm race. Yeah, that's how I reacted. Apparently, they're going to do something in a cup, and it's going to be placed on this almost like a microchip track, and it's going to be magnified and filmed. And they said the race should take like 20, 40 minutes, and 4,000 people are going to watch it live. Whose swimmers are faster?
Aren't we all the fastest swimmers already?
I don't know. And they're like, this is to bring awareness to infertility. So let's just hope both guys aren't inert. I wonder if they tested it beforehand.
Probably. If not, they need to talk to Geraldo. Remember what happened with him? He said we were going to find Al Capone's vault, and all we found was some old empty beer bottles.
Yeah, anyway. But, well, I look forward to seeing you Monday. And yeah, Craig texted me this morning saying he ate something bad. He just, him, he'd be here if he wasn't like.
It's good to hear you guys. And I'll be up there Monday morning, raising hell and praising Dale.
Here. Well, appreciate it, man.
See you.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. You heard it from the man himself, Eddie Bader. Love that guy. And I'm really having trouble understanding, how do these judges think they get away with this? And I guess now the federal government's paying attention. The FBI is paying attention. And there's a part of me that's like, when I saw Senator Britt and Senator Tuberville inviting Kash Patel, like I love Kash Patel, but I'm also like, man, I still don't know if I trust the FBI just yet. Like it hadn't been enough time for y'all actually to overhaul this thing. But maybe that's the thing. You send the fellas to Alabama. Send them to the Rocket City. That'll start to straighten them up. And in fact, that might actually be the way to go. You train people outside of D.C. You create a culture outside of D.C., outside of the central office. You might actually affect some real change. And of course, the response to this has been, this is Trump going after his political opponents or something. In particular, Trump administration is now looking into Act Blue. Now, the DOJ is doing this. They're looking into Act Blue. Act Blue is the largest, like, say, fundraising arm for the Democrats. Through the campaign, James O'Keefe, for instance, got a lot of great video where he went door to door And he said, it shows here on this financial statement that you donated to the Democratic Party over this amount of time, $200,000. And the person's like, what? I wish I had that money. I donated like $100 the other day. Well, it says here right on this page, the financial reports and disclosure that you are like, that's crazy. And it was person after person after person. So they're going to be investigating, quote unquote, possible money laundering. That in order to pump up the coffers for political campaigns, they were laundering the money of billionaires and putting it under, say, everyday people's names they already had in the system who had donated, $100, donated $25. We're Democrats. They're like, I don't like Trump. I'm going to donate. But their names were being shown as donating thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But of course, that's being called going after your political opponent. Oh, well, I guess we are forever going to be in that world where the government is always a threat to the other side out of power. It's not like that's anything new, folks. Not like that's anything new at all. Now, about this time yesterday, we jumped on that report that Tommy Tuberville is running for governor in 2026. I'm sorry Craig's not here, nor Eddie is here. They have a gentleman's, like a bet going on. And Craig said very early on he thinks Tuberville's running. Eddie said, I don't think he's running. And it's some big bet where they go eat some tasty Mexican food or whatever, and loser pays. Well, Craig's ready and hungry. He's always hungry. I mean, he's a big man. He works out hard. Like he works out that brain too, doing all that reporting and all that investigating. So he's hungry. He's ready to go. And he was kind of not quite. He was doing a little bit of spiking the football. And Eddie's point back, I kind of did some shuttle diplomacy between the two. Eddie's point back is I haven't seen any paperwork. I haven't seen anything official. And I think Eddie's got a point. It's got to be official, Craig. If I'm going to be the referee about this, I mean, it's y'all's bet. You can settle it as men how you like. But here's the deal. After all this came out, I believe Yellowhammer first put it out there. 1819 had a follow-up story echoing this. I believe editor-in-chief there at 1819 News, Jeff Port's like, this is the worst kept secret in Alabama. And it is. I mean, for the longest time, Coach has been telling a lot of folks around the state that he's running. But you never know until it's official, till the paperwork's filed, till it's like that official announcement. And after all this publication of stuff at multiple sites around, say, Alabama and covering Alabama politics, Tuberville said on X, quote, while I appreciate all the interest, Suzanne and I are still praying about how to best serve the people of Alabama. When I have an official announcement about my future, you'll hear it directly from me. Now, the source was it was directly from him at some private donor meeting, but we'll see. I am not against Coach Tuberville running for governor. Some folks might think otherwise from an op-ed headline I pinned the other day. But no, my point was it shouldn't just be, I got a big name, I can easily win governor. Cool, that's true. That is quite true. And it's not just, I have a great record in the Senate that conservatives in Alabama are going to love, or the Trump faithful are going to love me because I've been one of the most MAGA senators and representatives up there. Well, it's fine. But beyond the campaigning, because I think Coach is primed to win this thing and be the next governor of the state if he does officially announce. But what are you actually going to do? What are you actually going to do, Coach? And my only advice is stay in the Senate unless you're ready to do something big and bold to change this state and to bring that MAGA energy, that Doge energy, just a little bit of innovation and vision to the state. In fact, encourage some of the people that are already there. They're plenty smart enough. They're plenty capable and talented enough to see things through. They just need that leadership from the governor's office to actually push us in a direction that actually upholds the conservative values of the state. That's what I'm looking for in Coach. I'm happy to call him Senator Tuberville. I'm happy to call him Governor Tuberville. But Coach, do it big and bold. Do it right. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this? Hello, anybody there?
Hello?
Hi, you're on there. Who's this?
I think I dialed the wrong number. Bye.
Well, that's just...
You are a rude, terrible person.
Anyway, I do need to hit a break anyway. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out to get that snap back in your turtle, so to speak. They're ready to help you feel like you used to, where you could go all day, all night without petering out. Yeah, you could pull all-nighters. You can keep on trucking through the rest of the day. Like, you're a young man. I can do whatever I want. I'm a dude. I can power through. Well, Montgomery Men's Health, if you're feeling like you can't do that anymore, like you're falling asleep right after I got a sandwich for lunch and it's making me sleepy. I need to lie down. Or you're drinking way too much caffeine to get through the day. You're not sleeping well. You're seeing unwanted weight gain, loss of muscle mass. You just don't feel like you used to. Get by Montgomery Men's Health. There, the providers can conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And they have low-T treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change men's lives. After treatment, men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, brother, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice an increased libido. You can get that snap back. And you can actually book the same day that you call, and they have treatments there that can make you feel better the very day you find out about your issues. They can make you feel better that same day. So call them up today, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit AlabamaSheriff'sYouthRanches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Oh, what a day, what a day, what a day. Now, if you think I was making up the whole sperm race thing, I wasn't. They, in fact, put out a whole, fancy promo for this thing. It's unnerving. It's embarrassing. I don't even know if I want to play the whole thing here, but, here it is. Let's check this out together.
Everything big always starts small.
Yo, listen, you hear that? Killers in the jungle.
This is the world's first ever sperm race. This is Asher from UCLA versus Tristan from USC.
That has to be the gayest thing of it. What in the world is that? Good God. As they're sitting there drinking milk and Asher and Tristan. It's like fruit cakes. Anyway, let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Joey, it's TS. Why are you breaking up?
I don't know, TS. Am I still breaking up?
No, not now. I came out of my shed. I'm trying to put a new battery in my zero turn.
Well, that explains the
Her name is Betty.
I like
Her name
that.
is
Betty. And it explains the signal issue. I was in the shed.
I was in the shed. This sperm thing, some of this stuff you discussed today is totally disgusting.
I agree. The world's gone mad.
Well, they can't help it, and they just need to get their ducks in a row, but I don't know that they know what a duck is. I want to thank you for surviving without Craig. Is it Craig or Craig?
Craig.
Craig and Eddie. You did quite well today, young man.
Oh, my. Well, I'm on a new regiment.
Of what?
All sorts of great things. And I got a new shampoo. It makes my hair look luxurious.
Oh, that must be why your brain is functioning so well, because it's sinking down in, past your skull. I just needed to aggravate you and tell you thanks for a great show by yourself. Heaven forbid.
Well, and, I'm realizing I got to compete. I got to be better than Alabama Unfiltered. I got to be better than Greg Budell. It's a hard task. There's some days I'm definitely not. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Oh, come
we will
on.
Crown you. When he retires, we will crown you the new Joey Clark in place of Budell. But he's never going to retire.
And he's got a 20th coming up next Wednesday.
I know. Are you going?
Absolutely. I'll be there at the Baumhauers celebrate. And captain, captain. I can't miss it.
Well, I'm going to try to go. I just wish it was, in Millbrook, but that one's not built yet, really.
Yeah, they'll get there.
Yeah. Okay, I'll try to make it. Take care.
Take care. Yeah, and folks, if you want to brave the Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery, you might be able to see a tranny fight. Here they're going on here in Montgomery every once in a while. Or it could just be some big girls getting into it. That tends to happen sometimes. But get video next time so we can make people famous for the worst possible reasons. Heck, people fighting in front of a gas station, pulling the hair off each other's head. It's a lot better than two young bucks seeing whose sperm is the fastest. What the heck is that? Just absolutely ridiculous. Now, I'm going to do one for me. Play a clip. This one's for me. It might not be for the broader audience. But it's stuff like this that just makes me smile. Because y'all know how bullish I am on Bitcoin. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I know. Every person needs to make their own decisions in that regard, especially with your finances and some newfangled highfalutin technology. But what I'm about to play here is Lucius Messier, who urges the Swiss Central Bank to hold Bitcoin at their annual shareholders meeting.
So let's listen into this together. See what this fella is going to tell him.
In such times, society needs resilient institutions like the Swiss National Bank. And here, I want to point out the fundamental difference to other speakers. The Green activists want you to support their agenda. They distract the Swiss National Bank from its mission. The Bitcoin initiative, in contrast, seeks to support the National Bank by providing it with a monetary tool for the digital age. How is that? Bitcoin is a special asset. I have to admit, it might not be worth much in scenarios that most of you consider normal. However, Bitcoin can be worth a lot in the specific scenario of a multipolar world order with fading trust in government debt.
Correct.
The high price of gold and Bitcoin is the market signal to tell us that this scenario is not unlikely.
Correct.
In economic terms, Bitcoin resembles an arrow security named after the Nobel Prize winner Kenneth Arrow. And as anyone with a formal education in portfolio theory knows, the question is not whether to hold an arrow security, it's how much should be held. I leave it to the competent employees.
I guess he was saying narrow, not arrow. I don't know. The accents. Oh, it's so much.
Bank to figure out the right amount.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure that it is higher than the 1,000 Bitcoin you already hold indirectly through shares of companies that have Bitcoins. If you want our help with these considerations, we stand at your disposal.
I love it. Now, the Swiss National Bank actually jumps in on this as well. Katie barred the door. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this? Hello? Is this TS installing a battery? I think that was a butt call. Yeah, and I just like this guy is trying to tell the Swiss how to, I can't do the accent. Trying to tell the Swiss how to actually buy a Bitcoin. I've been trying here in Alabama. I've been trying. Trying. Just buy a little bit. We got all sorts of other reserves and other things going on. Go for it, guys. Anyway, let's try line one again. Is this, who's calling here?
This is Robert.
Hey, Robert, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Good.
I don't know if you've already discussed this today or not, but this morning I had saw on, I go back and forth to Fox News as I'm working, just not my favorite, one of the last ones. But anyway, I saw where, like, even in Montgomery, there was like a student that couldn't get his graduation because not passing or taking some LGBTQ stuff in health class or something. And then I also saw another case in Massachusetts, and Fox on their website had the actual pictures of the questionnaire that the kids had to do. And I don't think you could read these questions on the air, but they were disturbing to be asking like an 11-year-old child, because in this case it was an 11-year-old child in junior high school. In junior high. And I'm just wondering how can you not call the police? Because if you ask these questions to an 11-year-old, you would be arrested.
Some of this stuff is just downright creepy, and they do it in the name of compassion. I think that's the most charitable thing, and I think most of these folks, that is not the motivation. This, I believe, was in front of the one out of Maryland, Montgomery County, Maryland, was in front of the Supreme Court, where parents were just saying, "Hey,
was Montgomery County, Maryland."
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think you're right. I don't think people would just call the police if that's happening here in Alabama.
With the other one in Pennsylvania, with the 11-year-old girl, some of the questions that they shown there on the site on Fox, they were very disturbing. I mean, that's something that an online predator would be asking.
I mean, is there anyone I haven't seen the story. Is there any way you can characterize it?
Yes. It had to do with not just sex, but explaining what the different sexes were in the different ways to have sex, like orally or et cetera, and then it went down to using devices and where you have put those devices.
You sure this wasn't a Wes Allen press release against John Merrill?
No, it was on Fox News today on FoxNews.com. And, that's where I saw this. That's why I was like, oh my God, because I would call the police, because if you were asking my 11-year-old daughter that, I'm calling the police.
Yeah, that's crazy. If you're asking about like how to and the toys and stuff to use, that's nuts. That
is insane.
Yeah, and
It
predatory.
makes me wonder what type of room of individuals thought this was acceptable, and what is your real agenda here? Because it sounds like you're a bunch of creeps.
Yeah.
So,
well,
but, thank God my kids are grown and they're out of school now. But because I would probably be in jail if you asked my 11-year-old girl that. So.
And I know you're not alone, and I think even a lot of Democrats, especially around here in Alabama, there are a lot of folks who are like, they're just not aware of this stuff, and as soon as they see it, they're right there with you, as am I.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah,
I appreciate it, Robert.
All right, thank you, sir. Bye.
272-9228. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is East.
Hey, East. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hey, look, I got a bright idea when you played that last report. The guy that sounded kind of like an assistant of a Bond villain. What we need to do is get you a sweater, a bow tie, and some bookish glasses, and let you make an appeal to the state in that accent.
Oh.
I think that they would go, oh, well, he's got to be smarter. He's got like a Swiss accent. So yeah, let's get Bitcoin. Don't you think that would work?
Yeah, here, let's listen to the guy a little bit again.
In such times, society needs resilient institutions.
In such times, society needs resilient institutions. But my worry is too many of the guys over at the State House used to watch SNL when it was good, and they're thinking of Sprockets. Want to touch my monkey?
Yeah. Yeah, how about that? We'll get you a black turtleneck and some thin black pants. That would work out great. That would work out great. But listen, Joey, I enjoy the show, even though you don't have any sidekicks today. You just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I really appreciate it. It's great hearing from you, man.
Talk to you.
272-9228. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Now, Mr. Joey.
Hey, Duke. How you doing?
What's going on over there on Ann Street, my man? I heard a little bit piece here and there this earlier, but what?
Well, somebody sent me a screenshot. I'll explain it. From City Watch Uncut, Montgomery, Alabama. And some guy named 10DA posted, big fight on Ann Street this morning at gas station across from Chick-fil-A. Apparently 4 trans women severely assaulted another trans woman. Police and ambulance everywhere. And folks are complaining, well, where's the video? And they're like, no video.
Now, reckon what they're fighting over.
I don't even know, man. Well, and, I was kind of making the point, too. It might not be trans. It might have just been some big old girls and somebody snatched the hair off somebody else's head,
Oh, big old Turner Green pulling girls.
Yeah. Because I've seen it. I'm not making it up. I've seen it.
I hear it on, boy. Boy, knock your eye one of these heels, boy, you mess with me again.
Yeah, and the one move I've never thought of is like they put the arm straight up in the air and then come down like a hammer, like, whoa, whoa, like got you by the back of the shirt. Whoa. I'm like, oh, that could.
Well, Joey, what I still got to hear this one day. What my girl name? Collins and R.J. Jr. Okay. I got to hear these two have an argument one day.
I can't do RFK well. I can do Susan Collins.
Come on.
I could do Susan Collins a little bit.
I still want to hear them have. I want to hear them have an argument about some disagreement, on the floor or something one day. I just want to hear those two.
Susan, there's dye killing the. Well, I've eaten red dye 40 my whole life, and it's.
I'm gone, Miss Joey.
Later, Duke. We got to hit a break. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hello there. This is Dr. Sam, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Well, radio is the #1 reach medium, and it's everywhere, in cars, offices, homes, gyms, and even in stores. Radio advertising can efficiently get your message across to a large number of people. Contact me, Dr. Sam, by going to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The risk of showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms will continue into the evening hours tonight and generally fade out overnight. Low temperature tonight, very mild for April, 65. On Saturday, still a few widely scattered storms, but most towns will stay dry. I've got us around 88 Saturday, 88 to 90 Sunday and Monday with a little bit more sunshine both of those days. And we'll take the rain chances down to under 20% for Sunday and Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. You're thinking of selling your home. Here are several ways to improve the look of your home and possibly the value. Number one, improve the curb appeal with trim bushes and cut the grass. Repaint the exterior where needed, and if needed, paint your front door. Number two, declutter the inside of the home by removing items that are not needed off countertops, dressers, and the den. Three, paint walls and trim where needed with a fresh coat of paint in a light color that will show off your home. Four, clean your oven and microwave inside and out, make it shine. Number five, professionally clean carpets or shine the wood floors with a polish or Bono. Six, clean out all closets or unwanted clothes, shoes, belts, hats, and donate them to a local charity. Finish any leftover repairs now, doorknobs, light bulbs, and closet doors. For a complete list and an in-person evaluation and consultation, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's Cleaning Service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final moments here of the program. And Ray Bowles, being important, has something to do. But we have David from Prattville Carpet on the line. Hey, David, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Joey. How are you doing?
Oh, I've been powering through the day, powering through the week. I'm enjoying myself.
Oh, good. You been able to stay cool?
Yeah, actually, they just redid the AC. They're renovating the building and stuff, and so it's like a ice box in here, and I like it.
Oh, wow. I've been running the roads and helping people out today and sweating back all sweaty. I'm just ready to go home and take this shower.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So for folks, they should know at this point, but if they don't know about Prattville Carpet, what can y'all do for the folks?
You know what? You just call us at 285-8117. The person that answers the phone is going to be the person that comes to your house and gives you that free measurement. He's also going to be the person to show you around the store at different samples, get you to pick out something. He'll be the one to order the floor for you, to schedule the install, and to follow up with you when you're done. Try to do that at Lowe's or Home Depot or one of these discount flooring stores and see what you get. It's going to be one guy that was in blinds or tools last week working in the flooring section, don't know what they're talking about. Then they're going to send somebody else out to measure. Somebody else is going to call you about an estimate, and who knows who they're going to get to come to your house.
So folks, just call up Prattville Carpet. That's 285-8117. And when you call up 285-8117, be sure to say, hey, I heard David do an amazing ad on the radio.
Well, I sure appreciate it. And we've got some amazing stock vinyl plank that we've been keeping in, so the prices are really low on that. And it's been a great product and a great seller. So anybody looking for some new vinyl plank floors, now is the time to get it before they run out.
There you go. Well, appreciate it, David.
Hey, thanks so much, Joey. Have a good one.
You too. Well, I'm just wrapping up things now. Pamela Dubuque is setting things up for happy hour, the Friday edition of the stream. If y'all don't know, Greg and Pamela are now streaming on YouTube on at happy hour, that's happy hour with Greg Udell on YouTube, and of course Greg's Book of Faces page. And I like your Scott Fitzgerald quote over there. Because somebody took down the curtain on the window, and I didn't have time to pin the rest of it up. But I like that. That's a nice touch. And I'm kind of liking the renovations going on in this room right now. It's actually cold in here, which is fantastic. And I think the lighting's actually better, not having that big old window there to my right. So I've been enjoying myself. Plus, the news is just so weird today. Especially, we might be near end times. When I know a lot of you out there don't like the Pope. I get it. Like you're not Catholic. You don't want to be. And then even if you are Catholic, you're like, this Pope, he's gone too far. He's a Marxist or whatever. But he's still an old man who just died. And they've got him on display, and he got all these young folks showing up trying to take selfies with the dead Pope. Most absurd thing I've ever heard and seen. They had to tell people, put away your selfie stick before you go by the dead pontiff. These are the type of people that would fall off the side of a cliff while they're trying to take a selfie, trying to take a picture of the dead Pope. Well, he's all embalmed and everything. Oh, let's go down to the catacombs and let's throw up the peace sign next to the graves. What's up, man? I don't understand what is happening. I don't understand why is there some big promotion called sperm racing. I don't want to see somebody's sperm race. Seriously. USC and UCLA students are gearing up to compete in the world's first ever sperm race. Absolutely ridiculous. Judges now under arrest. We learned that today. A couple of them. Pretty crazy. We learned that Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum, he had to be let go because he was doing the bug and tug in-room massages. Ooh, I'm Klaus. Hit that spot right there. You own nothing, and you will eat the bugs. Oh, hit that spot again. But then the guy that got to replace him's creepier than Klaus. What? How many stem cells do you eat with your oatmeal in the morning? And where do you get them? You weirdos. We learned that. We had a follow-up from Tuberville saying, well, I'm still praying about it with the wife. So he hasn't made an official announcement. When it comes out, he says you'll hear it directly from me. So we'll see with Coach, see if that actually works out. Anyway, it was a good day. I'll stick around, I think, for happy hour a little bit, if y'all don't mind. And y'all stay tuned then. Greg Budell, Pamela, myself, we're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Forecasters warning of low humidity and gusty wind have increased the risk fire could spread across parts of New Jersey, Philadelphia, and its suburbs, and Delaware, as firefighters continue to battle a vast wildfire in the Pine Barrens. The National Weather Service has discouraged any outdoor burning. Disgraced former U.S. Rep.